Hey modelers, welcome to the ModelGeek Scale Modeling Podcast. Here, we will be discussing anything and everything as it relates to the world of scale modeling. Before we start, we would like to take a moment and thank all of you, the listeners out there, for your support. We would also like to thank our great sponsors for their support. Detailed Scale, Furball Aero-Design, Tamiya USA, SprueBrothers, and Basis by Bill. Please have a look at their websites and have a look at all their fine products. Now, buckle up and ride along as we journey into the world of scale modeling. We really hope that you will download and make us a part of your modeling bench sessions. Now, here are the geeks, Darren Cook, Scott Samo, Andrew Frill, and Andrew White. Hey geeks, welcome to episode 59, the big 59 of the ModelGeeks podcast. Can you believe it? We're almost to another milestone of 60. Darren here with three of the finest folks I know. Andrew Frill, the Whitey, Andrew White, and there's El Presidente. Where the hell's Scott at? El Presidente sitting in for Nemo, who is where? In Jacksonville playing golf.
Jacksonville playing golf.
Parts unknown. OPSEC people. Come on.
Yeah, I know. He's sending pictures of alligators in golf courses, man.
So, gotta be Florida.
Working hard, man.
Working hard. So, guys, how you doing? Let's go around the room. Frill, how you doing, man? Doing all right?
All right, man. Yeah, I'm doing good.
It's been a while.
Ginger ale. Yeah, I know. I'm out of ginger ale.
I wonder how that happened.
I don't know. I'm down like my handle of Crown Apple is like down a half now.
I think I brought a bottle of ginger ale over there, I think.
Yeah, it's long gone.
Anyway, it's been a while since I've seen you. Well, obviously I stopped by, but here on the show itself, because I've been gone for a while. So it's
yep. Yes, you have.
It's great to be back behind the old microphone. Good. So it's good to see you, Frill. Whitey, how you doing, man? Look, you got raccoon eyes. You've been down in the sun basting like a turkey?
Yeah, man. I was kicking it down in the Caribbean, having fun, spending time with fam. Niece's wedding thing, so that was a fun time. I highly recommend it. Go take a vacation in the Caribbean, folks. Love the people there, real nice.
Yeah, I need a vacation. I don't care if it's in my backyard in a tent. Get away from the work computers.
That works too. Yeah,
it's too hot right now.
It is. God, it's hotter in Hades, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too hot to be outside.
Yeah. El Presidente, Tim, how are you? Welcome.
And I am doing great.
I think this is the first one you and I've actually done together because you're always sitting in for me.
That's right. Yeah. First time I've seen you on the other side of a podcast.
Yeah, right.
How's the recovery going there, El Presidente?
Yeah,
it's going well. I had my 2-week follow-up today. And the surgeon said the joint looks perfect. He showed me the X-ray, and of course, it just looks like a big chunk of metal inside of what is otherwise shaped as a shoulder. But it looks good and it feels good. I can. He moved it around a little bit. Range of motion is going to take a while to come back, just because as part of the surgery they have to remove a tendon and then reattach it. And then, and that's the major thing at this point. The wound is essentially healed. It's just,
you had the whole thing replaced, right?
I did. Yeah. So the ball and socket, arthritis, if you know me, I'd like to think I don't look very young, but, my body is a lot older than it looks. And, is it just rode hard and put away wet one too many times? Probably a little bit of that. And unfortunately, arthritis does run in my family. So it's certainly, in his words, it was certainly arthritis.
Yeah.
And
well, look at that. 2 weeks. You're doing better. You start physical therapy yet?
I started physical therapy day after surgery. Literally.
See, you're gonna be sniffing glue and slinging paint here in no time.
Well, actually, I am. I actually, and he did clear me to take the harness off for short periods of time when there's no worry that a dog is going to jump in my lap and cause me to want to move my arm quickly. Yep. So yeah, So I'm good, and that means I can hold an airplane in one hand and paint with the other. I tried doing it. What's that?
The bionic modeler.
That's right.
The bionic modeler.
Hey, new call sign.
Gonna have to change.
We got to get that theme song.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. I could just play that occasionally while I model. And that'll really keep me motivated. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, hey, let's take a little trip around the room here. We'll start with Frill, and tell us, man, what you got on your bench. I've seen some stuff with the Claude. I've seen there are a few other things I think sitting over there too. What you got going on?
Yeah, well, the Claude first went ahead, got it done. I've got a replacement canopy and photo etch sprue coming from the good people over at Wingsy in the Ukraine. So I just went ahead and tacked the canopy on just to kind of finish it up, and when it gets here, I'll replace it. And then I was posting some pictures in one of our groups, and our buddy Justin was like, "Hey man, the Hinamorus look good painted on, but the decals, the white bands," he's like, "Yeah, they're filled with rivets." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I was trying to avoid having to figure out to do that because the rivets are so fine that when that decal went over it, it just obscured them." And I was trying to put my magnifier on, put some lights, and
what you were late for.
Yes, because I was doing those rivets because Justin called me out on it, and I can't let that go. And so I found out that the Mr. Rosie the Riveter, the 0.75 millimeter one, was a perfect span of the other rivets. So I kind of lined it up, and I kind of started before the decal and just kind of slowly ran it across, keeping it straight, and to the other side, just going over the decal just to put some rivets in there. And so
those are the greatest things, aren't they? Those Rosie riveters. I've got all the sizes with some extra little, what do you call that piece with the spike, the rivet maker, I guess, but different sizes. They got wheel. Thank you. They've got dual roll or do row.
Yeah.
Rivet makers. Hey, there's your tip and tool of the week. We just did it right here in the intro.
Yeah.
One of the best tools I think I've got in my arsenal up there, other than my Tamiya bottle opener, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, so I'll finish that. I only have a couple more to do, and I'll finish that up. I'll put some Solva set on them, let them sit overnight, and then check them out in the morning, and then just go from there, and then put a wash on it. And because they're just so fine. If anyone's ever built the Wingsy Claude, you'll know what I'm talking about, because the rivets are so small, and they're just so fine. And so I was tinkering around. I forgot I even started this thing. And it was the Tamiya 48 scale T72 tank.
Wow.
And, that's not a T72. No, it's a T34. Sorry, T34. And it was painted and everything. So
the armor guys are going to beat you for that.
I know. That's why I'm not an armor guy. I never claimed to be an armor
Those are
guy.
like two ends of the spectrum in the Soviet tank world.
They are.
Bonani's over there going, "Damn you, Frill!"
Yep, he's generating that sternly worded email to me right now.
That's right.
And so I saw that, so I've been kind of playing around with that, just weathering it up. And in the kit, you get 2 crates to put on the side of it, and they're wooden. And so I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but Darren saw when he was over. I did the simulated, I did the wood thing, how I do it, and I think they came out pretty good.
Yeah, they are. They're pretty sharp. That wood grain popped right out. They look good.
All I did was I was looking in my paint rack, and I saw that I had like a tan or some kind of light sand color that I used on the Egyptian Sherman, and I just painted the boxes with that. And then when it dried, I just put some raw umber oil paint on it, and then just took a piece of sponge and just drug it over to create the wood grain, and just let it sit for a couple days. And I'm like, oh, it looks pretty good. So
that's smart.
Yep. And I got the seams checked on the Phantom, so I think I'm ready to continue on with that. I want to get back on the Phantom here soon.
Yeah.
And
cool.
That's it. The C-Ram still sitting over here waiting to be painted. So
all you need to do is prime and paint that bad boy.
Yeah, I saw people, I guess you can spray that Mr. Gargunzi Mr. Metal primer. I guess you can spray that through your airbrush. And so I'm going to get that shot, because this thing's got so much photo etch on it that just painting it's not going to go very well. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Cool. Very cool. Whitey, I know you've been on vacation, but I know you were working on something before. What
Yeah.
you got going on?
Sorry, I was just laughing at my dog over here. He's freaking out because a V-22 just went over the house like wicked low. You know how they have that
thump,
that sound, man, that thump that comes ahead of it.
Unique sound, yeah.
She don't
shakes the windows.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow,
they fly over the house late at night, and my house just kind of vibrates.
Right.
As they come over. Anyway,
it's kind of the perks of living near a military base, folks.
Yeah, man.
It is. Yeah.
Women like it. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, as far as modeling goes, yeah, sure. I've been away, Hoconus, and so I kind of feel out of the loop on the modeling scene. When I was down there, I was actually like Googling, like, all right, I wonder if maybe there's a model shop around here. Who knows?
I do that too.
Nothing that popped up.
Always.
Or a club. You never know. There could have been a club down there.
Yeah. But time was compressed. So I didn't have time to do anything but hang out at the beach and drink beer.
And nothing wrong with that.
Rent jet skis and that kind of fun stuff. But modeling wise, definitely did that. Yeah. All right. So on the modeling front, let's see. I'm still in work on the God, I got to turn around to remember the name.
Oh, you've been gone too long.
You have been gone a while.
The Mavis.
The Mavis.
And so prior to leaving, I got all the glass work on that thing in place and puttied in. And Tim, after you did that read, so you understand where I'm going with that. Like, no, none of the clear parts really fit very well. I did have a vacuum form set from one of those old. Is it Falcon that used to do those sets with the, they do like the Luftwaffe set and the
it's Falcon.
Falcon.
I mean, yeah. So I had a set that actually
they still exist and they still do them.
Oh yeah, they're great. I mean,
they're awesome
for the main for the cockpit area. I had two of them. I don't know where I got a spare one at. Someone gave one to me, just the cockpit section, and I tried to use it. And I got to be honest with you, the kit part fit better, so I went with that on the flight station area, and then as well as the bubbles too. I cut out the bubbles, and they just didn't want to. Either way, filling was going to happen, so I was like, I'm just going to roll with the kit parts because I can sand near those things and clean them up easier than I can thin. Vac form plastic. In fact, so the only part that I used off of that sheet of vac form was the tail gunner section. It's a pretty big greenhouse section back there, and the kit part there just didn't fit worth a heck. And so I used the vac form one to fit in place really nice. And of course, that vac form stuff you can, especially with those sanding blocks from Goodman Tools, you can sand vac form really nicely with those things and get a nice flat edge, and it'll mate up. So I did use it back there for that. So got all the glass faired in, puttied around it using what's it, Mr. White putty? No, Mr. Dissolve putty. That's it. I love that stuff. That's great for using. You can slather that stuff around clear parts and then use your finger wet with alcohol and get rid of the. Smooth it right on in, fair it into place, good to go. So that's where it sits now. It's basically I'm getting close to ready to mask it all off, which I did pick up my mask for that because that's a whole nother thing too. Any of those old Japanese kits, the framework is outlandish. So thank God for.
Yeah, where'd you get the mask from?
Okay, Scott was speaking about these guys, and Frildo, you as well. Dead Design Models. Makes a set for it, which as soon as I saw that, I was like, bing, I'm buying it because the blisters on the side and the tail gunner section and even the flight station section, there's a lot of work that would go into masking that cleanly in that scale. So I was like, worth the $6 every day of the week masking sets. So and I like that company because they make such a variety.
Yeah, and they make them for all the older kits that are, generally still in production, but you can certainly find them. And in a lot of cases, they're the only game in town is that kit. just like your Mavis. I mean, nobody else makes a Mavis that I know of, certainly not in 72nd scale. And up until Dead Design, you couldn't get a mask for it. You'd have to make it yourself.
Their control surface masks are awesome too. They fit like a glove.
Yeah,
fit perfect. I used them on the Claude, and they worked really well.
Talking about masks, those did y'all see Paul's stencil mask that he used on the Spitfire? Who is it makes those?
One man army.
One man army. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but that's in 32nd scale. I mean, it's amazing that they can cut them that accurate.
It's like
even in that
like a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a full scale deal. So yeah, that technology masking has come a long ways, and I'm with you, Whitey. $6, $10, it's worth it. It doesn't matter.
That's a free add-on.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. You save so much time and aggravation. I know most of the time when it comes to canopies, most people don't like messing around with masking.
No, it's a pain. It's a straight up pain in the ass.
Yeah, and the stuff
even on a regular jet canopy is just a pain.
Yeah, like I remember my dad used to come over my house with his canopies because in the past my technique was a fresh X-Acto blade and a roll of Tamiya tape and a blade or in a straight edge, and I'd sit there and just chill out and do it. But he didn't have the patience for it. But when he would see me doing it, he was like, "Oh," and he tried that just sitting there and doing it like that. Yeah. It just wasn't for him. But he would come by with it. My dad was the type of model that would have like 3 or 4 things going on at once. All World War II stuff, mostly Japanese stuff. So you're talking greenhouses as far as the eye can see. And, so he'd come by with his canopies all in separate bags and be like, "Hey, can you mask these up for me?" I was like, yeah, man, I'll take care of that for you. So I would do it. No problem, But nowadays with the mask sets that are available to you, or even if you have a cutter, these Cricut cutters and things like that, you can do them yourself if you have the skill to. I don't even know how that process works. Frillo's made masks for things a couple times, and I don't even like that could be something you can speak to later on in another episode or something like that. Or
we can talk about that's a good idea.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
I mean, and I've seen even you, Tim, you've cut. I've got masks for the national markings on this thing because the decals were shot, and it's kind of hard to find large Japanese roundels or Hinamoras, that go on like the wings of this thing. Right. And you went ahead and cut some for me that I'll certainly be using.
Yeah, circles are real easy.
Yeah. I mean, not too complex.
No, but anything actually with a cutter, if you've got the 2-dimensional shape, that's easy to just import it in. And I mean, it's just a couple of steps and then you cut it. The difficult things are like when you've got a complex curve over a canopy that you then have to go from 3 dimensions to 2 dimensions.
Yeah.
And I'm still working, what I think is a reasonable way to figure that out, but it's not always perfect. I build enough Spitfires that I've been able to practice on a Spitfire.
Sure.
And I think I've got it down and I now have a template where I just use that same basic template. And then I'll run it through the cutter, put it on the model. And if it fits, I'm done. If it doesn't, because, no model is the same as another model, I'll either just add a couple of extra little pieces to fill in, or I'll just adjust it real quick and rerun it and then save it with a new name that it's specifically for that kit.
Yeah. I've come across commercial masking sets that are out there that don't fit quite perfectly.
Right.
Yeah.
But like if it's somewhere, but you can always cut them in half and then catch your corners and then fill in the open space with Tamiya tape on a straight line. So you can always make them work. And a lot of time too, doing that alleviates sometimes you go to bend, particularly with the vinyl mask, you go to bend them around a curve and you're going to have that little V that wants to pop up, so you cut them and that takes that out of the picture for you.
Edward thought their forward thinking thought, all their masks come like with on a F-14 canopy or an F4 canopy with just the outside edges. The center's not there for that very reason.
Yeah,
right?
that makes
you could
perfect
put it into
sense,
the corners adjust it where you need it, and then you fill in the rest with either liquid mask or
Tamiya
a piece of Tamiya tape.
Yep. Yeah. Most of the time, like, do we eduate kids say, they point out the liquid mask. I have rarely used that. I usually just fill in with tape.
Me too.
And that works for me.
Same here.
But cool. That's where I'm at with that. I don't know. I'm home and kind of unpacking still, so I'll probably get on it this weekend when I have some downtime to go ahead and I got to cut my grass. Y'all mentioned the rain we've got.
Oh God, I know. I'm right there with you, brother.
I got a jungle out there, so I'll be my next couple of days after work coming home and hacking that down with the machete.
Well, we'll see. We'll see you this Friday for beer and building at the high tide. Then
that's my plan. Yeah. Well,
all right.
Sure, that'll interrupt that plan.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's good to have you back, Whitey. Good to see you.
Good to be here,
Tim. What you got going? I know I know you're down, but your left arm, so I know you're doing something.
Yeah, I am, and I haven't been idle, which is good. I actually was able to paint or prime at P47, and then do some sanding and clean it up. What I'm doing is taking an old kit from the 80s that I built, the old Hasegawa kit, and then it had a broken landing gear. And I just decided, you know what? Instead of fixing it, I'm just going to pop the canopy off, cloud the inside, and then take the gear and close up the landing gear bays and put it in flight. And it's ready to go to the paint shop now. Primer's all done, sanding, etc. And that's been about the most I've been able to do. I did for my Sky Knight for the MiG Killer build. I did call up bases by Bill. And and I did order a base for it that we'll have. I don't remember if it was part of the recording where we talked about etching or 3D printing the Marsden matting, the PSP, pierced steel plating or whatever it's called. But and so he said, yeah, they can etch that, and so I'm going to have that etched onto the base, and
very cool.
And that'll be so it'll be ready for nationals, so it'll be sitting on that base with the rest of the MiG killers.
Very cool. Real quick, a plug for all the listeners we're going to be presenting y'all with a really awesome interview with the whole crew from Bases by Bill here in just a little bit. That's our main topic tonight, and you need to listen to it. Some of the things these guys can do will just blow you away, and they got such a great story. They produced such a great product. We were very fortunate to get them on, and hopefully, folks are going to enjoy that a little bit later on. So, I still owe them an email too for a few.
Oh, you haven't ordered?
No,
but I got in ahead of you.
You did.
Yeah, because I actually ordered 2, but I'm picking up 3. Right now, I'm picking up 3 bases. I ordered 2, and I did P the T on that that ship case.
Yeah,
that we talked about.
Oh, did you?
I did. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. I went out, I looked at the ship, and I said, yep, I got to P the T on this one.
Yeah, very cool. Yep.
Otherwise, I'm just letting my spar replacement heal.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
I got that.
I did too.
His spar replacement. No, I got it too. Mm-hmm. Pun intended.
Yes.
Anyway, for myself, I'm still pushing on my MiG killer, my Ming F4E, sitting over here. Got it, almost all the seams covered up on it, and got a few little fiddly bits to put on before I start priming and doing that stuff. But work has just been taking the wind out of my sails and not allowing me to either approach the bench, or it's filling my sails and pushing me the other way. Not much modeling going on at old D-Rand's modeling bench, but we'll make it. We'll get to Nats. It'll be done. Might look like the A4 did last year, but it'll make it. So
you'll be skidding in the front door with glue in hand.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Still off-gassing while it's sitting on the table.
Yep,
that's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
still making sure
lean in and sniff it.
Hoping the landing gear doesn't splay open. Yep.
Hello, Model Geeks. This is Bert Kinsey of Detail and Scale to tell you about our newest publication, F-105 Thunder Chief in Detail and Scale, written by yours truly and illustrated by Rock Rozak and Jim Rotrammel. This is not simply an expanded and updated edition of our original Detail and Scale series book on the Thud. Instead, it is an all-new publication. It really took a lot of research and effort, but I'm very pleased with how it turned out, and I know you will be too. In fact, I think it's among the very best titles Detail and Scale has ever produced. Overall, there are almost 300 color photographs and illustration, more than 90% of which are in color. Following the introduction, the Thunder Chief History chapter reviews the development and operational use of the F-105, including its extensive role in the war in Southeast Asia. Next is a chapter that covers each of the Thunder Chief variants in more detail, beginning with the first YF-105As and going through the F-105F and F-105G Wild Weasels. Extended coverage is provided on the Wild Weasels to include an informative text that clears up some of the misconceptions about these important variants, and both general and detailed photographs illustrate all of the changes made to the aircraft as various systems were added and updated. Next comes a chapter on the armament carried by the Thunder Chief, and this includes more than 30 detailed photographs and illustrations. The focus of all Detail and Scale series books is that of the physical details of the aircraft, and the Thunder Chief Detail chapter contains more than 145 detailed photographs and illustrations, more than 90% of which are in color. There are 26 cockpit photos alone covering all production variants, and more than 90% of the photos in the Thunder Chief Details chapter were taken of operational aircraft. The modeler section covers all of the Thunder Chief kits from 1/144 scale through 1/32 scale, and it points out the pros and cons of each. The backdating that needs to be made to the kits in order to build early F-105s in the natural metal and silver lacquer schemes are also covered in detail. Like all of our Detail and Scale publications, F-105 Thunder Chief in Detail and Scale is available in both printed and digital editions, with both the Kindle and Apple formats being available for the digital editions. To learn more and to order yours, visit our website at www.detailandscale.com. Happy modeling from Detail and Scale. Now back to the Model Geeks podcast.
Real quick, going around news. You guys hear of any new kits on the streets, or you got anything that you're getting your eyeball on as far as new stuff goes? Frildo, go.
I saw on Instagram that ICM has another 148 scale Mistel coming out. German,
Yeah.
Yes.
Like bomber, or not bomber thing, but like a rocket.
Guided bomb. Essentially a glide bomb. Yeah. Dropped by a fighter mounted to the top. Would release it once he got on the glide path, and then the plane would just, the bomb plane would just glide into the target.
Yeah, so I saw one of those coming out.
Yeah, that's big. And it's a re-release of their earlier missile kit, which was a missile trainer because it had the standard Ju-88 bomber. And but the missile variant that is being released now has the bomb nose variant. So there's no cockpit on the Ju-88. It's replaced by a warhead.
Yeah. Interesting.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, man. Why do you got anything out there you're keeping your eye on? Something you've seen? Thing that's got your goat?
Oh, man. I have not. Like I said, I feel like I'm out of the loop here.
I'm putting you on the spot. You are out of the loop, man. You've been drinking beers and looking at sand and chasing dolphins, man.
No, nothing I'm taking off the top of my head, man. I'm still waiting on that Edgewatt FM2 to hit the streets whenever those guys get around to it. I hear that's coming by the end of summer, so I'm kind of excited about that one.
Possibly Nats. They'll have it Nats.
Oh, see?
You could be standing in line, Whitey.
If I were there.
Oh, that's right. You won't be there.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time we did that.
That means one of us is going to have to stand in line.
I might shoot you a text. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just take a lot of pictures and say, look how long the line is. I don't want to stand in that line.
Hold on. I know that Triple P has got one of their roaming correspondents in the UK here loves to stand in line at Natch, especially the Edward. So Jensen, yeah,
That's
we'll
true.
We'll
And
just
the
throw
Brits are
him
good at queuing.
Yeah, we'll just throw him some cabbages. He'll be standing in line. He can.
Yeah. Jensen, pick up 3 more.
We got a job
They'll
for you.
queue up, man.
If they do have one, I'll grab one for the raffle, and I'll also grab one for the Christmas gift exchange.
Good call.
No, I just need to take one of our. I'm sorry, Phil. I'd take one of our request letters and give it to them and see if they'll just do it out of the kindness of their heart for PAXCON.
There you go.
Ooh,
I'll do that. I'll print
nice.
one off and carry it with me.
There you go.
I saw too that ICM has a set of 1/35th scale U.S. or helicopter pilots to go along with their CH-54 kit.
Yeah.
So those are out there too.
I saw that too. Yep. Tim,
I saw that Titan Models announced they released some CAD renders that they've got for a VACform C5 Galaxy in 72nd scale. That's going to be one big model, and it's got a lot of the detail parts are all going to be 3D printed. So looks like the fuselage, wing, tail, that's going to be VACform. So yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of sanding to get to the fun part. But
hold on, stop the presses here real quick.
What?
I don't get the popularity of the C5 Galaxy, and we're still waiting on a 1/48 scale P3 Orion. But we're going to crank out a 72 scale C5 Galaxy.
That's for all those Air Force guys.
Man, nobody wants to build trash haulers.
Oh,
right.
You're gonna get some email with that one. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
I just can't imagine the amount of. I mean, you're gonna have to lay down some serious structural support in that thing,
Oh, absolutely. You know? Yeah, it's gonna.
You're gonna need. I would hope that's designed into the kit, like that they've got something, framing or something you can put in there.
Well, if they're doing the 3D renderings, they should be able to provide as part of and hopefully Titan Models is listening to the podcast. Hopefully they can provide as part of the package, if you will, on paper, here's how big you make the bulkheads. And if it needs a stringer or a spar, here's the dihedral you need, or the different angles and the size. And, of course, as most modelers, we probably over-engineer it and double everything up, but that's fine as long as it stays together. But yeah, I could, and of course it's, the beauty is we'd also have to figure out how do you pop the wings off to be able to take this to a show? I mean, gee whiz, exactly.
Holy I recall, fine scale modeler Paul Boyer, who's an expert with the 72 scale stuff.
Yeah,
particularly the larger subjects, and it was on the cover of one of the issues back in the early 90s. I would reckon.
Yeah,
don't know who made the kit, but at the time, that new foam insulation in a can stuff come out, great stuff or whatever, and I believe that's what he was using as a. He was like, "Oh, okay, I'll squirt this stuff inside as a support means of It sounds like a good idea, but if you've ever used that stuff, it kind of expands
a lot.
And how do you gauge how much is too much? And I want to say in the article he was talking about, of course he wasn't just, pulling the trigger and watching it run. He's taking his time and playing with the stuff to see what it would do. And it started splitting seam and all that kind of stuff. And you had to, it was kind of a trial deal. Probably not the best thing to use for it unless you have some sort of formula down as to how much to put into X amount of space or whatever. And go ahead and determine that if you want to. Folks.
Or if you've got a couple of holes like an intake or an exhaust where you can
somewhere where you can
it just let it squirt out when it fills and expands and then trim it all off. But you hope that it goes in the direction you want it to go in.
That stuff's a mess to play with anyway, man. But
holy cow! I can think. I've got VACforms and I build one every year or so, and I don't mind building them, but I can't imagine taking on a C5. Holy cow, that's just massive. The other thing I saw on the other end of the size spectrum, a company called VFR Models released a 3D resin printed Ercoupe. It's a little 2-seat private aircraft that was from the, I think, 30s and 40s, monoplane that was also used for as a trainer for some organizations, basic trainer. That's the only stuff I've seen. I mean, there's some stuff that was announced months ago and years ago that are being released, but nothing, no new announcements that I saw out there that look interesting.
Well, vac forms, we talked about vac canopies, we talked about vac forms. I'm starting to think there's a sign there. I think we need to have a vac form group build.
I'm in, man. I got a whole
think?
pack of them right here behind me.
Look at Whitey shaking his head. No.
I've got 2.
First of all, he doesn't like group builds. And then, to do vac form on top of that.
I've got a vac form kit sitting back there too. Nothing C5 size, that's for sure.
I've got one
little. What is it? Naval Aircraft Factory trainer, the bi-wing.
Yeah,
I'll mess
up.
Yeah,
which one?
It's an N3
Yellow Pearl.
The N3N. Yellow Pearl.
TAC 1, TAC 3. Yeah, you can do either one with it. I don't know why that plane's always been attractive to me. So
yeah,
there you go. See, you're
all right. If we do one, I'll do that one, but I'm not committing to anything yet.
I got the Martin Baker MB5. I've had that for 8, 9, 10 years now, I guess. But that'd be a cool one. Just need some Spitfire parts and do it up.
Yeah. What scale is it? 48?
48. Yeah.
48. Yeah. You'd have to buy a Spitfire kit to chart it up.
I've got a couple.
Oh, I bet you do. Yeah.
Good stuff. So
that aircraft seems like it'd be a perfect candidate for someone like Models Fit to do. You know how they've done a lot of these experimental kits in 48 scale, or these shorter run aircraft like the P-51H, the F-82. That seems like something that would be great for them to do.
Czech Model did a 72nd scale kit.
Mm-hmm.
Did it in 72nd scale.
Yeah, the MBs, all of the Martin Baker fighters have been done by somebody in 72nd scale.
Yeah, pretty
either
cool
resin
stuff.
or vac. That's cool.
I did see. Anyway, we'll think about the vac form thing. I've always wanted to do one. They scare the hell out of me, but why not? Yeah. Why not give it a shot? Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Yeah, you'd be surprised at how once you get past the prep, it just goes together like a model. At that point, it's a limited run, short run kit. And
I've seen a lot of these built. Well, I've seen a couple of these built. This particular, and each one had a lot of filler. There was a lot of stuff to fill in. So I guess you get your body work practice, right? So
yeah, you do. Yeah, you can. Some of them do need a lot of filler.
Yeah. Switching gears just a little bit, I saw AK Interactive. They've got a new book out. The 56 Fighter Group of World War II.
Yes,
Have y'all
sir.
seen that? RAP the T. Comes with decal sheets, 2 decal sheets from Cartograph.
48 and 72 scale.
Yep.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. All the nose art. It's pretty cool. It's at 244 pages. And I mean, looking through the modeling news here, I'll put a link to the website in the show notes for this. But
it's cool. It's cool too because the ones that they did for that have never been done decal form before.
Yeah, this is
cool. Is that right?
Yep.
And I'm a nose art fan, man. And some of these jugs here, no pun intended, with then the nose art is just wicked cool, wicked cool. So
love the P-47.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, same here.
And then also ResKit. Now ResKit just announced on Facebook they've got a lot of new stuff coming out. They do those periodic updates where they show. But the one thing that stuck out to me was their 32nd scale Australian F-111 cockpit. Is pretty cool. That's coming. I have Alexei sent me a sample of the US kit and the detail, and I think I had it up there at High Tide Games for you guys to look at. But the detail on this thing is just wicked cool, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's amazing.
I love
even on their cast pieces.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. I'm sorry, Tim.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah, I'm just interjecting.
So, I mean, I did a pretty exhaustive search. There's just not a lot going out right now. But the stuff that is coming out is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I say that in aviation side. On the aviation side, there's not a lot coming out. There's a lot of tanks and a lot of just a ton of stuff. And I would suggest listeners out there, go ahead and go to the Modeling News. I think, the modelingnews.com. Bookmark that place because it keep you updated on almost everything that's coming out.
I feel like we do kind of, we certainly do miss a lot of the other genres of modeling that are releasing stuff, and
we do.
Our apologies, folks. We are airplane geeks essentially. So, I mean, now and again, I'll see something or otherwise that I'll toss out here when doing an update or what's new out there on the street type of thing. But admittedly, when I'm scrolling through sites and whatnot, I'm looking to see what the latest aircraft stuff is out there.
Same here. And I mean, I say, I'm like Frill in the beginning of the show, T-34, T-32, whatever it takes. I don't know. I don't know one tank from the other. I could tell by the national insignia, it's not mine, but that's about it. They're all targets to me. Anyway.
Well, it was funny. I was watching Fury the other night on TV, and I noticed
awesome flick.
That Fury had a different gun muzzle than the other 4 tanks. And so I was like, I wonder why. So, like any aircraft modeler does, I picked up my phone and I paged TJ. And I was like,
I paged TJ.
I'm watching Fury for the umpteenth time. And why does it have a different gun? And of course, I got this response back that, like you airplane guys. And he said they just had a 75 millimeter gun or something just to put into the tank platoons as an anti-tank kind of thing. And I was like, oh, so they just got hey, you're going to take this tank. And he was like, yeah, pretty much.
So that was actually realistic. I would have assumed the answer would have been, oh, well, unfortunately they used the tank they had.
That's right.
Which just happened to have this different gun on it.
Yeah. Kind of who's got a notice type of thing. Well, remember the guy down at the air show, Frill, the Polish tank crew?
Yeah. Yep.
With the Sherman, and they were talking about the gun barrel on it being painted white, of course.
Yep. And and that was to disguise the Fireflies. So that when the Germans were looking, they would just think it's a normal Sherman, but it wasn't. It was a Firefly. And again, I don't know what the difference between a Firefly and a normal Sherman.
Well, I know a Firefly had the 75 millimeter gun, I believe.
Wait. Oh, wait. You mean tanks? Tanks. I was Firefly. Yes. Okay.
Fireflies are certainly lighter than Shermans.
All right.
Okay.
I'll cut that out. That was
that was good.
That was
here all week, folks.
Yeah, here all week.
Tip your waiters and bar staff.
All right. So moving on, since I butchered that, Frill, you picking anything good up? No, let me go the reverse order here. Tim, you picked up anything good? Any new kits? Any new?
A couple of things besides the bases. Last Friday you were showing me the book on the Phantom that you had by
Duke Hawkins.
And so I IP'd the T on the Mirage 3 book. And that came earlier this week. And of course, I've already digested every single photograph and caption and all the words. Oh, yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It's absolutely amazing. I love the Mirage Deltas. They're just beautiful aircraft. And now I've got something that can help motivate me to build more of those.
There you go.
I keep buying the kits, but, I end up getting distracted by other stuff. So now I've got a book that I can look at. And then I bought a bunch of stuff from Barracuda Cast or Barracuda Cows, whatever these guys are called this week. But but Barracuda Studios anyway. I mean, the positive side of here, this Barracuda Studios. I bought a bunch of control columns for the 124th Spitfire that I've got. So they give you 3 different control columns. And what it is each one is offset just a little bit. There's one that's perfectly vertical, and then the other 2 are offset just a little bit. So if you want to basically move the ailerons you can. And then I bought 2 sets. One set is early, the other one's late. And the difference is the switches that are on the ring. And it's because the early one, of course, had the 303 caliber with the 20 millimeter cannon. And then the later Mark 9s had the 50 caliber machine guns with 20 millimeter cannon. So the switchology was just a little bit different. And I think there may actually also be like a bomb release on it or something. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to go look at my references and see what the details are. But there's something on there that's a little bit different as well. On the opposite side, there's the thumb switch where you trigger the guns, and then there's something on the front side that's different. But I bought a whole bunch.
What scale? Is it 72nd scale?
24th scale.
Oh, 24th scale.
Yeah, that's for the big Airfix kit that I.
All right.
Of course, I mean it's a Spitfire. I'm going to get actually. Airfix releases a 1/24th scale kit, modern kit. I'm gonna buy it. I made that commitment 10 years ago with the Typhoon.
He'll never build it.
Yeah, and I've got no, that's not true. I've got it on my. It's actually on my short list of things I want to start. And
what does Tim and Frodo have in common? He'll never build it.
Yeah, he'll never build it. But and then I got the Hellcat, which I've already figured out on that one. I've gotten as far as figuring out the paint scheme and the base. I just need to work with Bill and come up with and let him make it instead of me making it.
He'll get it.
I know he will. I know he will. And then, but I bought a bunch of wheels. And the rest of the stuff I got from Barracuda Studios is all the different wheel sets, seats, and some prop and spinners for Spitfires.
Gotcha.
So yeah, lots of good stuff. I mean, and while I was there, I wanted the control columns anyway. And while I was there, it's like, you know what, I'll pick up all this other stuff too to make the order kind of worth the price of shipping. And I think that's all I bought. That's all I bought.
Cool. Whitey, you're up.
I did come home to a mail call. A couple of decal sheets from Caracal. I picked up his latest B-52 sheet, the G&H. They have a Loring Air Force Base bird on there that I want to do. And also there's kind of out of my wheelhouse a little bit. 1/144th scale C-131 Samaritan. Rod makes a kit for that. So he does a nice sheet for that as well that covers both some Air National Guard stuff and a Navy bird, Air Force medical transport, some really nice marking options on that sheet. I've never seen that rod and kit built up, so anyone out there in the 144th realm of things that can say yay or nay. It's the only game in town, apparently, probably. So, but it's a cool complaint. I've always loved that twin engine, radial engine thing. That transport looks cool. So,
I've actually flown in one of those.
Oh yeah, yeah. What the Navy called it they call it a C-131, or they have an R designation on it.
Oh, I'm sure that when they first got them, there was an R designation. But when I wrote it, it was a C-131.
I remember
I was an ensign.
Yeah. 89, I got to Norfolk with Hawkeyes, and they still had one there as the base bird. And of course, it was me being an airplane nerd. It's down there parked at Air Ops, and I got to go look at this thing. And got talking to some of the ground folks that worked on it, and they were civilian dudes. They weren't Navy maintainers on it. And what they would actually take rags with baby oil to shine it up.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh wow, that's the trick, huh?
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
A lot of work keeping a natural metal
like
finish that shiny. Holy cow!
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all that's what I got out of spending my money.
Very, very cool. What about you, Frodo?
Well, the only thing I picked up was the new release of the take-home PACCON 1/35th scale MQ-8 Bravo with blade fold set and the missiles.
Yep.
Yeah, I picked that up, and that's about it. SprueBrothers had it on pretty decent price, so I was like, all right, I'll grab it.
Man, Gordon, he does throw some. Well, that wasn't a lightning deal, was it?
No, it wasn't a lightning deal.
No, I was gonna say, he's got some pretty good lightning deals that pop up there every now and again. So check every morning the lightning deals. I finally found my 32nd scale border model Lancaster nose. So I peed the T. I got to do that big Lancaster. And you did the nose art edition. It's going to be pretty cool. I don't know where I would put a 32nd scale Lancaster because looking at just the nose, I'm like, holy balls, that's going to be a big jet.
Yeah, that's a big airplane.
Yeah.
Center of my TV room.
Is that right? That's where you want it?
That's what mine would be. Yeah. I'll settle for the 48 scale one though. I'm not.
Did you ever get one of those? I know you were looking for one. Did you get
picked up the HK models. What's it, a Mark 3 that they do? I think they do a Dam Buster version as well at this point. Yeah, I picked out one. Nice looking kit.
So.
Yeah, cool. And then breaking outside of the aviation theme, I got into another group build. Damn you, Lucas C. Porsche build. So I picked up. Actually, I went to Frontline Hobbies. Annette and I were up in Lynchburg, Virginia. We made the trek over into Stanton and stopped by. I saw Christian and company there at Frontline. And, I can't go into a hobby shop, a brick and mortar without buying something, period.
It's like
got to keep them open.
Rule.
Yeah.
It's the unwritten rule.
I was going to say, that's a rule, man.
It is. No, it's a law. It's not even a rule. We will take your modeling card away if you don't. But I got myself a Tamiya Porsche 911, which is, it's a curbside kit. So it's not got to jump into and build and detail motors and all that stuff. But do it for the group build. It'll be fun. Main focus, though, next group builds, man. I got to get this damn Phantom done. I got to get it done for Nats.
I'm staying away from group builds this year because it's 80th anniversary of D-Day is coming up, and
you did the same thing.
I almost committed myself
for the 30th.
No,
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I
definitely want to do
what you're going to mention.
I want to do the C-47 with the paratroopers loading up.
So let's do a C-47 group build.
Go ahead. You can. I'm not.
It'll just be you and me, Whitey. Why? I need another group build.
It doesn't have to be official, We could call it. We could call it a D-Day SIG, and then
we could.
There you go.
Crazy.
Make it a SIG.
I got a trumpeter kid up there is just staring at me. Build me.
Our local VFW up here, they've got a really cool picture in one of their rooms where it's those guys, and they're you probably seen it where they're gearing up.
Oh yeah.
They got the C-47 parked behind them, and they got the Mohawks.
Yeah. So I want to do something. I know it's been done before by everybody. It wouldn't be anything original, that's for sure. But it's just, I don't know. That whole scene in the Band of Brothers is just my favorite when those guys are gearing up to go, man. I don't think any war movie fan out there can't deny that's a cool scene. Just those guys loading up.
Yeah. That whole series, my favorite part of that whole series is when they were going through training and when they made the jump, when they were getting ready.
Oh, heck yeah.
When I first saw that, when that show came out, I turned the TV up, put the stereo on, put the TV through the stereo, turn the lights off, and all that stuff was going, exploding. And man, that was so cool.
It's been a while since I've read the book. I'm going to have to read it again.
You'll see Masters of the Air is on the forefront. It's coming soon. It is. Which is going to be, it's the same Tom Hanks and, was it Spielberg and all them directed?
Yep.
Doing the same. Yep, that guy. Who is a model builder, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I hope he's listening. If you're listening, we'd love to have an interview.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Come on and talk to us there. Mr. Spielberg, we would love to have you.
We won't even talk models. I mean, we won't even talk movies, rather.
No movies. No movies, only models.
Models only. In the Sunday little shindig y'all have. I want to know more. So hit us up. Contact at ModelGeeksPodcast.com. Thanks, Mr. Spielberg. All right. Hey modelers, have you ever struggled with how to display a contest-winning model or a project you completed after many years of work? How about protecting a model you built for a veteran or a family member? Well, Basis by Bill has a solution. Their museum-quality display cases are the perfect way to protect and enhance that special model. Built by modelers for modelers, Basis by Bill display cases are available for any type of model and for any size. Check out their website at basisbybill.com to see their new range of Astro cases, available in 18 different sizes, or to get your own custom-built display case quote. Use the code GEEKS at checkout to apply a 10% listener discount to your order. That code again is GEEKS for 10% off. Basis by Bill for all your display model case needs. All right, so I mentioned Nationals. Let's move back on over to shows and contests. Nats, August 2nd through the 5th. We were just discussing that prior to the show. Whitey is not going to join us because we're going to take his card away.
Because I'm broke, man.
But the rest of the geeks will be there. I'm driving with El Presidente. 2-day trip. Another one. We did that to Nats last year. It was a good time.
Going to have a full truck.
Yeah, man. I mean,
we got
gonna have to get the little U-Haul coming home.
Oh man, we might. The well, I've got I'm taking all the group build kits, from the club here, and of course a couple of guys that otherwise can't make nationals have asked me to take their models for other group builds. So yeah, sure, it'll if it fits, it ships. It's kind of
that's right.
The way I look at it, and all I'm asking them to do is, you got to box it up because I can't box it now. All the Japanese kits that we're doing, I'll try and box what I can because I've got a number of containers for it. But man, it's going to be, the truck's going to be full because we've got all the geek stuff too, right?
Yeah. I'm going to consolidate that down. So, okay. I think we can make it work.
Oh, we're definitely going to make it work.
Need you to add a P3 to that.
A P3? Whoa!
You mean a built one?
What's that?
No.
A built one?
Yes.
Well, that's late breaking news.
I asked you like last time, and you were like, "Yeah, that's fine." Yeah, you told me just to pack it up, and I was like, "All right,
yeah. You got to pack it up."
Oh yeah, I will.
All right, yeah. Don't use a mattress box and have a bunch of empty space in it. You got to make it fit, dude.
It'll fit. I got you. Yeah, man.
Little kind of C-story related. When you just said that, it reminded me of this. You remember when you would be pre-flighting the bird and you got to take it from here to there, and you just got in your head, you know what your fuel load is, you know what you're doing, it's going in the back end, and all of a sudden, supply shows up with a van at the bottom of the ladder with boxes of parts and everything else. You're like,
Frill's doing that to us right now.
Now you're waiting balance. Your weight and balance that you already worked out in your head, and the way that you're going to do the load in the back end is you already envisioned it all before it's all even happened. But now this guy comes along.
AP3 says, I said something to you weeks ago.
No,
I did.
Then
I did.
That guy comes burning.
And then Tim said, as long as it's packed up, it will be. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why we didn't have a Loadmaster qual as well.
That's what we were. we did the job. I used to put it's another C story. I used to put the tube rats and the NFOs, all their crap in the Bombay.
Just in case.
Well, no, because when you go on deployment, they would stick the luggage rack. They call it the luggage rack. And it was just like a big pallet. They would click into the racks in the Bombay. And that's where you take like your oil and your hydraulic fluid, that kind of stuff. And bags and stuff too. And I'll be damned if my stuff was going to go in there.
Why?
Because he's EFE.
That's right.
Tubes of frozen toothpaste.
Yeah.
Tubes of frozen toothpaste. Gotcha.
Definitely.
I like the self-loading baggage guys. Their stuff went in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when like the pilots and the FEs and the IFT, our stuff went on the airplane, and everybody else's stuff, if it fit, it shipped. If not, it went to Bombay.
Very cool. Well, that said,
where were we? We're talking about nationals.
Yeah. So that said, Tim and I are driving, and we're carrying all your stuff.
Just one thing.
One thing. AP3. One thing.
I'm carrying my own Japanese 900 build.
Oh, you're
So-
going to carry your own?
I am. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
put that
Cool.
burden
Well,
on
it's because it's super tiny.
you. It is.
You can fit that in your shirt pocket.
Yeah.
Probably could.
All right, for listeners, Nats, August 2nd through the 5th at San Marcos, Texas. We're all going to be there, probably be arguing the way we are now. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there. We also have PinCon coming up in September in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. That's always a good show. I'm certainly looking forward to getting up there and supporting Dana and crew and the IPMS PA guys and having a good time. And then last but certainly not least for us is PAXCON 23. And Tim, El Presidente, I will pass that over to you for a PAXCON update.
Thank you, Darren. Let's see. I'm not sure if we updated this the last meeting, but our last show, but the awards are paid for. They are, I think they're either inbound or already at Nemo's place. And if that's the case, then they're in. I got the judges' feedback notes completed. And so if modelers don't realize that, I think we posted something up on Facebook. But
yeah, it's in the Model Shack.
Yeah, in the Model Shack. So every form that's on the table with a model, the judges are going to just provide a little sticky note with some information that says, here's some things I found, and that to help the modeler come up with a better model the next time. Because it's one of the things we don't see much of. Where there's always feedback face to face, but sometimes where all you're really looking for is just a validation of, well, I think I know where my warts are. Did the judge see those warts, or did he see something else? And we'll see how that goes. We've got plenty of. And the other thing is the forms for registration should be up on the website. So if anybody wants to download the forms, fill them out. They can. The thing to remember is you want to do that, fill them out so that you're ready. When you walk in, you're handing your money over to the nice guy at the front table there, and you're filling out and you're handing him your forms, and you're ready to go, as opposed to him telling you, here's the forms, you walk over to this other table and sit there and fill them out while we take the next customer.
It's a pain in the hindsight, for sure.
Big pain. Those are editable forms. So if you've got a computer, you can easily just fill it in, hit the print button, and go.
That's right.
Yeah, still got a few vendor tables left over, and need to get those sold. And then we need more award sponsors. And for folks that don't realize that it's the rental of the vendor tables and the award sponsorships are what pay for a local show like this. And we between that and assuming we get the number of people we expect to show up. So there's the trifecta there, that if those three things happen, then it pays for the show. And if it doesn't, if one of those things falters, like we don't rent all the vendor tables, or we don't get all the award sponsorships, then we have to hope that we get enough people walk through the door to cover it. And so we got to.
So Ted, could you let the listeners know a little bit? We have 3 levels. We have
multiple levels of sponsorship.
Multiple levels, but we do have a gold, silver, and bronze.
So there's 2 different kinds. You can sponsor awards, where you're sponsoring a basic award package or a special award, and that's if you want to sponsor a special award, that's one of the, off the top of my head, 17 different award packages that are best aircraft, best ship, best you name it, and the other kinds of sponsorship you can do is of course just the general buying a gold, silver, and bronze coin that covers and it's actually a handful of coins. I think it's about 4 or 5 that you pay for, that covers the basic awards. So if somebody goes in and they enter in as an aircraft and they win a gold for that, or a bronze, it helps pay for that. Now, the other kind of sponsorship that Darren was alluding to, the gold, silver, bronze, are the 3 tiers of sponsoring the show. If you just want to throw some money at the show and help to offset those other kind of areas where we don't necessarily get enough award sponsorships sold, or we don't necessarily sell all the tables, we have a gold, silver, and bronze. And of course, if you're a big enough money bags and you want to put out there that you're a gold sponsor of the show, then we'll put your name on the website. If you don't mind, we'll put a link to your website. If you're an organization, a corporation, company, you name it, we'll put a link to your organization on there, and make sure that you get announced multiple times during the show that you're a gold sponsor of the show. So that you can certainly do those. That's all available online. You can go online and just pay there, and you can either use a card or you can use PayPal, and it'll send the money to the club, and then we'll use that to pay for the show.
Yeah, ModelGeeks are a gold sponsor. Just haven't done it into the old PayPal yet, but we will. We'll get to the website and do that. If any of y'all out there are interested, please, and if you have questions, just hit us over at contact@modelgeekspodcast.com. We'll put you in contact, direct contact with El Presidente here, and we can get those questions answered for you. But we are looking for sponsors for the show, and any help is greatly appreciated. It really is. So,
yep.
Thanks. Anything else, Tim? Or are we?
No, that's it with the
PAXCON
for PAXCON. Yeah, that's a good update.
I did want to ask Whitey about the decals. Has there been any movement on it? I don't know if the listeners know, especially the local area guys, that we're going to have decals for PAXCON, right? So did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The artwork has been finalized between myself and Chris Meddings from Inside the Armor, shooting emails back and forth. And ultimately, El Presidente here gave us the thumbs up, said, yep, looks good, let's do them. And the files have been sent off to Decograph in Ukraine. They're going to do the printing for us, of course. And, Godspeed to those folks there. Hope all is well with them. And so that's really all we're waiting back to hear from is when they'll be ready. And I'll be, corresponding with them as far as making the payment to them and things like that, too, to get them supported.
Good deal. Yeah, that's great that we're, and my hat's off to Chris for reaching out to those folks and making that happen for us. That's really cool to be able on our first show to offer, decal sheets with registration. That's just cool stuff. So.
Hey modelers, Furball Jeff here. Are you tired of boring, underperforming, or inaccurate decals that just plain suck? Not to worry, Furball Aero-Design has you covered. We have an extensive lineup of ultra-high-quality aircraft decals covering U.S. military aircraft subjects from World War II to the present day. Our extensively researched decal sets are printed to the hobby industry's highest quality standard by Cartograph of Italy. Only Cartograph can capture minute details with stunning fidelity. The colors on our sets are printed to match U.S. federal standard colors for maximum accuracy. Every Furball set has numerous options and include lavishly illustrated detailed placement guides. Our decals have minimal carrier film and will give the markings on your model that painted-on look. So if you're ready to take your build to the next level, check out our website at furballaero-design.com. That's furballaero-design.com. And now, back to the geeks.
All right. So moving on over to Hobby Shop shout-outs. We need to make a correction. And I believe it was Brent who hit us up with the Hobby Shop shout-out last week. It was Wings, Wheels, and Waves is the hobby shop that he had shot over here. And just want to pass that along. We own our mistakes, right? We call out people all the time, like Frill and his rivets over there.
Yeah.
So there we go. This episode's Hobby Shop shout out comes from our good friend Derek Post, AK airline pilot extraordinaire floating around the country. He's getting to go a lot of good hobby shops. But he says he's visited this place a couple times. He visited again today. It's called The Hobby Shop at 200 Main Street in Ames, Iowa, just outside of Des Moines, about 20 minutes north. Old school. And he says it is run continuously for 74 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
That's
a long time.
Wicked cool. 74 years.
It's got to be some sort of record in this country for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
really?
I mean, that's like one of the first 10 model shops in this country. It's got to be.
Yeah. So now he says continuously run. So it's not same ownership. Right now, Mike Templeton,
Sure, yeah.
I guess, owns the place, but
that's right.
But under continuously run for 74 years. That's just it's incredible.
I mean, when you're that old, you can use a name like The Hobby Shop.
You're damn right you can.
Because you may have been the only one in the country at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Derek says that this Mike Templeton's got a great attitude. He says, when asking about Gundam, he said, if it's plastic, people can build it.
That's right.
There you go, man. I love that. Great selection of the paint, supplies, plastic models of all types, et cetera, et cetera. Just a great store owned by a great guy. So he's asked us to help. Please spread the word. If you're ever through Ames or you're in Des Moines, Iowa, or you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, hit up the hobby shop and go see Mike and tell him that the Geek sent you. Because, hey, we said earlier that it's a law, right? If you come across a brick and mortar hobby shop, you got to buy something.
That's right.
Make it happen.
It's the law.
So there you go. That's our hobby shop shout out for this week.
Stickers inbound to the hobby shop.
Stickers inbound. Oh yeah, there you go. Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, you gonna send some to them?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. Wicked. 200 Main Street.
Got it.
Let's see. Tool and tip of the week. We talked about that, and that's our Rosy Riveter.
Yep.
You were using that again just a few minutes ago. So
I was. We were on a break.
Yep. There you go. There's your tool tip of the week, the Rosy Riveter. Check it out. YouTube that stuff. There's a lot of videos out there on how to use it. And that is going to bring us to everybody's favorite mail call. Mail call. There you go. The mailbag is a little light, but that's okay. That's okay.
Darren, would you like me to write you an email?
Please.
Okay.
Please. And say Dear Darren on there. Don't say, Hey Geeks. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Send everything to Frill. He's got the next episode.
All right.
Oh, that's right. You're not going to be here, are you?
Nope. I will be in Iceland.
That's right. Send everything to Scott. He's got the next episode, so he can.
Is he going to be able to do it from Jack's?
He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah, he comes back like July 5th.
Yeah, that'll be good.
There we go. So moving into the mailbag. The first one I'll start here is from a gentleman by the name of, how do we say the pronunciation was, Tim? Pranay. Yep. From
now that's assuming that the internet is correct. When we looked it up and said,
that's right.
Okay, I want to make sure I pronounce this guy's name properly.
Yeah.
So mucho apologies.
If we got that wrong.
Yeah, if we got your name wrong.
Yeah. Well, Pranay he's 23 years old. He's from Mumbai, India. And he said he started building 10 years ago. So 13 with the Airfix kits, starter kits.
Yep.
You know, I've seen that more than one time. I've seen it once. I've seen it like 1,000. Those little Airfix starter kits are like, they're the crack that get them hooked in, right? So,
they're awesome stuff.
Yeah.
It is awesome stuff.
So he was inspired by his dad. I'm sure, go back to episode 1. I think most of us said that we were kind of inspired by that father figure. He's been listening to us since 21. and he didn't finish any kits to the final year. Oh, he went to the University of Westminster in London. Finally graduated in February and managed to build the Edward 148 MiG-21, his first of 23. I sent pictures to you guys of his MiG-21. Did y'all get a chance to look at those? I thought they were pretty impressive, man.
I did. Very good. Amazing job.
Yeah.
You can't tell that's like his very few ones, like one of his.
Well, especially, yeah, I mean, it makes it sound like he took a break while he was university. So if if this is the kind of work he does after he takes a break, holy cow, with a little bit of muscle memory going and, regular building, yeah, it's going to be impressive. I mean, it's already impressive. I love it. I love the way his MiG looks. It's beautiful.
I've got 5 of those kits and haven't built the one yet.
This needs to be your inspiration.
There it is.
He's got some stickers in the mail to him as well. The slow boat to Mumbai. They're coming. Because he hit us up last month with an email and sent some other photos of his work. And real nice work especially with those MiG-21s. He's got a lot of Indian Air Force MiG-21s, and they all look great. Him and Justin could have good conversations for a while about those, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, beautiful cockpit. I like the detail. Yeah, it's just beautiful.
Oh, the chipping around by the engine, the burner can too, looked nice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I assume that was because of the heat from the burner. It would cause the paint to come off. I don't know much about MiGs, but it's an absolutely beautiful model.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks, Pranay, for writing in. It's good to see the young ones coming back into the hobby. The MiG is certainly a really nice piece. Well done. And yeah, thanks for writing in, and look forward to hearing from you again. I don't know if you are, but if you are not, please become a member of the ModelGeeks Model Shack over on Facebook and show your work. Let's get out there to everybody.
We get a lot of requests there daily.
Yes. Yep. Traffic's getting pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. The next email I want to talk about real quick was from Brian Miller. And he says, thanks for the last podcast. He says, too many take this, the hobby itself, a little too seriously. He thinks that the best part of the hobby are the people itself. And I agree. I know that here, oh man, was it? But when we start doing the grumpy group bills or the nerd nights that we would do, like over at your place, Tim, or Vince's, or, what's it been, about 5 years ago, I guess we started doing that?
Probably closer to 7 or 8.
Really? Is it that long?
Yeah, I did it for a long time.
Yeah,
trying to make the hobby social, because I agree. I think that the people are the best part. And that's one of the things I love about hanging out on Fridays up at, the game store, up at High Tide Games.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Having a beer and shooting the stuff about, plastic and models, and hell, sometimes I'm going to build. I know I don't build. I do more socializing than I do building when I'm there, but that's what it's all about. It's the people. But he also thinks that the worst part of the hobby are people. And I get that point too.
Yeah, he's got a point.
I get that point too. He said, and I don't know that I've ever seen this, but he says he's seen models in the trash at Nats, people arguing with judges. I have seen people argue with judges.
Yeah,
I've seen people argue with judges.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to mention any names, Chris Dirks, but yeah, I've. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, and he knows it.
You owe Chris a beer now.
Of course. Oh,
hey, that's my roommate.
That's right. That's right. Sleep with one eye open, Frodo.
Yeah.
Hey, I got the FBI in my room. What could go wrong?
That's right. That's right.
Former.
Anyway,
FBI.
he says he's heard very nasty comments about other builds, and I have heard that too.
That's the worst part of that email. When I saw that, I was like,
yeah. Man,
if you're at a show, because I kind of did jump on your back there, but because he follows that up with that just what if that person hears it He ain't coming
Yeah.
back to a show.
Well,
He's gonna
yeah,
think
man.
we're
You
all a
don't want
bunch
to be
of.
that guy.
He's gonna think we're a bunch of jerks. And man, just don't do that, folks.
Yeah, if you're gonna trash a model, trash a modeler, because that's what you're doing is you're trashing a modeler. Do it in
Yeah.
private. Go to your hotel room, swear at the mirror all you want.
Yeah.
But not out on the modeling floor.
I can tell you right now, if I heard somebody doing that, I'd have to go back to one of my favorite National Lampoon Christmas Vacation quotes is, I need to take you out back and beat you with a cane pole. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be doing that. That's just no room for that.
Have some courtesy.
Anyway, I know where Brian's going with this email, and I agree wholeheartedly. He talks a little bit about the wake on his ship model that he had at Nats, and it was his first time doing water. Of course, he took third. That's wicked, and I know exactly where he's coming from. I've seen people say, "Oh, that marking's wrong,"
right.
or that seam line's not supposed to be there, or whatever. And the kit win, first, second, third. So, people are just people, and you're right. It could be the best part of the hobby. It could be the worst part of the hobby. I don't know. You guys out there, what are y'all going to be? The good part or the bad part? I know where I want to be.
Yep, I know where I want to be.
All right, save the best for last here.
Yeah,
and I do remember this conversation. I was not in the episode, but I remember the conversation. And this one comes from Roger Newman in Brisbane, Australia. And he writes in, and it basically says he's been doing a lot of the rounds of the various scale model podcasts and recently been binge watching the ModelGeeks. He thinks it's right up his alley, right up his street. It's a great mix of modeling, information, and banner, and that's what we like. We like keeping it conversational and just having a good time. But he moves on to what he calls more serious matters. And he was left after, I believe it's the last episode, questioning why it was such an amusing and bad idea to call the EA-18G a growler. Now, remember, Roger's in Australia, so there's a little bit of a language barrier, not too much, but
yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. So he went on to what he calls Dr. Google to verify.
Before you do that, though, so Darren, what you're the Hornet guy.
Yeah.
What is the origin? I
am not a growler guy, and I'm a legacy Hornet guy, so I'm not even going to try and touch.
So you don't remember what the growler?
I don't. No. I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. But, so as I understand it, and is that it originated with the EA-18G was replacing the EA-6B Prowler, right? Which was called a Prowler, and because it was a G,
they went growler.
The guys decide to call it a growler. Now, it could be as simple as that. Or I could be way out in left field. Yeah. And if there's any growler guys out there, growler modelers that know the answer, send us a note as to what it really is.
Yeah.
But now, let's continue
the So
the mailbag.
So he reaches on over to the Dr. Google using American slang growler, and he says, "Imagine my surprise when I discovered what a growler and slang dictionary is. How wrong was I, you Navy guys?" So anyway, it's a family show, so we're not going to go too deep into the slang. So we can let the folks out there either wonder,
look it up themselves,
or they can go to Dr. Google and look it up. So
there's actually a clean variant, and a not so clean variant, of the answer. So we'll leave it at that.
Off to the listeners. So he says, best wishes and continued success and good luck with PAXCON. Almost wish I could be there. He almost wish.
Yeah, almost.
No, I wish you could, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I all the way wish you could. But all right, Roger, thanks for the email. Thanks everybody for the emails. Thanks for writing in and dropping us a line on Facebook. I like hearing from all you guys out there, so please hit us up. If you have a question, show idea, or just want to say you're tuning in, please feel free to toss us a message at contact@themodelgeekspodcast.com or drop us a note, like I said, on the Facebook page or through Facebook Messenger. So, okay, moving on and on to our main topic for tonight. Tim and Frill and I had the opportunity to sit down with Bill, Weston, and Christian from Basis by Bill. We had a great conversation. Whitey, unfortunately, he had his toes in the sand off enjoying his pina coladas or whatever it was over there. And
had a couple.
Yep. And Scott, chasing alligators and golf balls. So the three of us hit it off, and man, we had a really great conversation with those guys. And without further delay, here's the interview. Enjoy, and we'll be back right after. Okay, geeks, here we go into the main topic for today. We are fortunate to have with us Bill and Wes Wiedeward and Kristen Gurney of Basis by Bill. Guys, it's great to see you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Welcome to episode 29 or 59. Oh, I'm regressing.
Good morning. Thanks for having
Good
us.
morning.
We really enjoy this. Thank you.
Yeah, no, our pleasure for sure. So I think when we kick this off, I'm just going to kind of toss it over to you, Bill, kind of introduce your crew. Tell us a little bit about Basis by Bill. Let the listeners know what you're about.
All right. Sure. My son and I, when he was young, I thought, well, I used to model and stuff. And when he got a little bit older, I thought, well, it'd be kind of nice to get into a club nearby. And so we sought out some people in Madison, got into the club and got involved, and everybody was modeling. And, I was a woodworker pretty much most of my life too. When they used to have industrial arts in high school, all
Yep.
the tools. So I thought, I enjoy modeling, really do. You're building stuff from scratch, but I really enjoy woodworking too. Probably even a little more. So I thought there's got to be a way to marry these two things together. So I don't know. The first thing I think I built was a Balkan cruise where I pieced it together and flattened it and stained it and brought it to a meeting. I think this was 6 years ago in February. And everybody thought, man, that's pretty cool. That's something. That would be a wonderful way to display a fock wolf or something on it, So I thought, well, okay, let's do some more. So it just started from there. Just coming up with ideas on ways to display a model on top of a base. As Weston was kind of watching from the sidelines and thought, there's other things we can do. Let's get a laser. A laser would really help with, getting text and things on it. So we got the laser, and then 3D printer, CNC machine, bigger laser. Then we got a bigger laser, and we got different woodworking tools. And and Weston kept saying, well, Dad, we really should make display cases. And I thought, nah, I don't want to. How are we going to cut plexi? I fought it until whatever we make, it's got to be able to be broken down. So I designed the Titanic case, the big one, so that it can be shipped, broken down, and disassembled and easily assembled by the customer. So it's just been a string of ideas, trial and error, seeing if customers are interested in these kinds of things. And there's plenty of things that we've tried that this didn't work out. We'll drop that. But I would say a lot of what we have tried, there is a segment of the modeling community that that's a great way to display this. And so it's just more from there where the three of us, we come up with different ideas along the way. And we brought Christian in. I think we were 2 or 3 years in at that time, and we wanted to get our website set up, and we wanted to get a shipping system set up, a billing or invoicing set up. So Christian pretty much took care of that, where we got onto Shopify and got our products listed, got the website fixed up, and he takes care of advertising too, getting the different podcasts too, and I think we're on ScaleMates, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So all three of us together, again, we're all modelers, so there's plenty of different ideas that we come up with, and of course we want to hear from customers, from anybody. It's custom bases by Bill. So yeah, much of what we do is custom. Somebody gives us an idea, and we just decide this. This is how we can accomplish it. We can add the paint, we can add color, trim. If you have an artifact you want to put on it, stuff like that. So, it's been crazy this last year too. Now with we're starting to do a lot of awards for contests.
I see that,
and that's a very hard deadline. So it's not something where you're kind of pushing the football down the field, but. Most of the time we do them year after year. We have a system for it, and they let us know ahead of time, and it's working out good.
I think that custom, that word custom is important. I don't think a lot of people understand that. I know that we have several folks in our local club here that have ordered from you. And as a matter of fact, every Friday we have a little build get together at our meeting place. And one of our good friends, Paul, had popped in there and said that, I told him we were doing this today. He's like, "Oh, I've been working with Bill and Weston on my base for my Spitfire, and we've gone back and forth like 4, 5, 6 times." And that's key. I don't think the customers realize the custom side of this, and I think that's really something that makes you guys unique over the others.
Well, and that's part of the challenge for marketing too. In that you're able to do anything. But how do you communicate something to the customer? Not everybody's going to have ideas. So one of the things that we've done is we productize just about anything we make to put into the Shopify store. Not so much with the idea that it's actually going to be a product that people are going to order, but it gets it into the Google machine. And so particularly with the painted bases and the various units, and like Bill referred to a case as the Titanic case. Well, when we first started building display cases, we had them in all different sizes, and they were doing okay, but we were looking for something to try to get more interest. And we came up with the idea of basically listing the cases for the ships that they are made for. They're just different dimensions. There's really nothing different about them. But on the website, we started with the 1/200th Trumpeter Titanic, built a case for that, or a listing for that. We discovered that the Titanic made by Lego is a hugely popular thing. You actually would spend more for that kit than you would for the Trumpeter kit, even if you added photo etch into it. And it's the same size. That's been a very strong product. And then we've just kind of over time gone through the 1/200 scale kits, and people come to us and say, "Oh, I really want to get your display case for the hood." And then what we do is Bill will speak to them and make sure that we are building to the right dimensions. How are they displaying it? Are they putting other pieces in there? Would they like to have other pieces like the ship's crest or a Royal Navy ensign etched into the base? So that's really been one of the things that we've been able to do. And as we create more painted bases, we've done that. We've added this idea of a custom size. Oftentimes people refer to tank on a plank.
Yeah.
Well, what we've done there is we've made it, you can order it 4x4 to 30x30, and we'll laser etch the unit or the vignette or whatever on there. And that's really popular because you can get exactly what you want. You're not limited to picture frames from Target. And the same is true for our figure plinth bases. You can set the 3 dimensions up to a top size, and those are proven to be popular as well because we're letting the modeler decide. And, all 3 of us are modelers. We're related by family. Bill's my uncle on my mother's side. So, in fact, I would say he's probably the person that got me into scale modeling back in the day. I left and came back, and now I currently am building. Of the 3 of us, I think I'm probably the most active.
You're the only one building out of the 3 of us, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I'm currently on a Spitfire Jag. So, anyways, and so, yeah, the custom part, we've had one customer, we're going to call him out because he is an amazing modeler, and that's Frank Avila. Is that Avila is his last name? And he's come to Bill, and he's asked for bases that have the sides cut out or things so that he can model the terrain for his 1/35th scale armor in there. And the stuff he is doing with that it's all, we repost those bases, and then he sends us photos, and we've posted those. The stuff he's done is amazing. And really what we're doing is, we've all seen Uncle Night Shift do the stuff with the different bases and the terrain there, but we can make it so it's a little bit more finished. Plus we can put detail on the side that explains the scene, either etched with paint. So he's just gone crazy. He's ordered several things from us, and everything that he has done, it just really sets off his work.
Those are 1/16 scale.
1/16. Where can we find those photos of his work? You said you've posted those. Is there someplace we can so we put it in show notes for
we have a Facebook page, Bases by Bill.
Okay. I didn't know if you had posted them on the website or not. So they're on the Facebook page.
What's interesting in modeling is it seems like Facebook is the place. Oh, yeah, man. Right? You guys got the Geek Shack. Yeah. There's a lot of activity there. The other podcasters have got their sections. Detail and Scale's got theirs, which I participate in. We've got one for vinyl cutters, which I'm active in. I do a lot of that to make my own masks, so I don't have to deal with the Edward decals, which perplex me. So I just do paint masks.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Facebook is like, it's becoming the Buc-ee's or the Wawa's of the retail store industry. It's the center of the universe. Exactly.
I think that's particularly strong for scale modeling, given the age demographic. That's what people are comfortable with. Yes, there are other platforms, but I don't know. I'm not interested in TikTok.
No, I hear you. It's funny because Tim and I have had this conversation several different times. I actually owned the Grumpy Old Scale Modeler Facebook group, and we had discussed it sometime trying to take that to the web, to the interwebs itself, and do a forum. And we find that nobody was really liking that idea. They just wanted that Facebook interface. They like it. So it's
So yeah, the custom part's very important, and we've done all sorts of custom things. A display case is a unique thing. It's not just for ships, but if you've ever built something for somebody, like a former service member or a family member, and you present it to either the family or the family member, and they really appreciate it, that's great. But now what happens in the future? If you get a simple case and put that piece, that aircraft, let's say it's an F4, and you put it in there, and you've got the unit and the time frame and the person's rank and that sort of thing. Now you have something that the family can pass along. Otherwise, the cat's going to get at it. It gets all full of dust.
Yeah.
It's hard to put all of that extra information into the model itself, right? Yeah, this is Uncle Harry's F4, flew off the Oriskany, that sort of thing. And that then makes it, you've done something special, but it's something that's going to stay with the family or stay available and in pretty good shape through the years. And I think that's one aspect of display cases that we like to emphasize for people. So that's, sometimes we do it for other things, unit decoration or personal decorations. There's all sorts of things that we can do it for. We have that capability. So custom is, we try to emphasize that without trying to boil the ocean. Right.
Another one, another term I like is attention to detail. And that's something I've noticed in y'all's products. And I'll just use the Titanic case for the Lego Titanic. Just bringing those pictures up a little earlier. Down to the corner, the brass pieces on the corners, those little ornate brass pieces. It's those little details that I think stand out. It's just a perfect touch. I don't ever see anything that's overdone. It just seems to be just right, if you will. And then where y'all are pushing the industry to, and I'll kind of go over to the Kwanzaa hut type case. No one's doing that bent, that curved acrylic like that in cases. And I think that for displaying a World War II aircraft that might be sitting in a Kwanzaa hangar or something, I think that's just genius. It just looks great. So
they're a process to make, but to get that bent, the bent rod, it takes 3 days just to do one, because you're taking all those pieces and then forming them, and then taking some more pieces, forming them, and more to get so after 3 days you only have one, and then you got to sand them down. So that's the problem, where I shouldn't say problem. That's what takes a while for them. It's not something you can just quickly do. If we were able to get those, if you were able to buy those in mass, that would be wonderful. But I don't think that's a possibility. But that was an idea I thought I came up with. I think that was just before Nationals last year. I made one and posted the picture, and it sold that night before we even we did take it to Nationals, but the guy down there, Scott Hackney, bought it right away. He's the president, I think, of Fort Crook.
Gotcha.
So, but anyway, that's the thing. I don't think we're bragging when, as modelers, where we're looking at detail and we try to make things nice. We don't like it when corners bust out or stuff chips, or it's not sanded or whatever. So that's how I would work when that finished piece, I'm looking at it as though it was, a model kind of, because you're taking a stack of wood and you're making something out of it. And, it's gotta mean something. You got to show that you're thinking about the detail,
Yeah. And that's kind of really the essence of our business, right? I mean, we're all modelers, and every model is a piece of art. Each modeler puts his or her own touch in it. It could mean, like we were talking earlier, it could be, grandpa's airplane that he flew in, or he was on a ship or a car or whatever, something significant in that person's life or somebody else's life. And, it's up to the modeler to take that idea, to take that vehicle or whatever they're making and make it into a piece of art and present it. And it truly is an art form. And the way I think of it is, the Mona Lisa isn't just thrown on a wall. It's a beautiful, timeless piece of art. Yeah. There's a frame around it. There's a presentation to it. There's something more to it than just a painting on a wall. And that's where we really come in. We take a variety of custom requests. We talk with the customer, we get that information, and you're going to get exactly what you described to us. and it's going to elevate your model, whether that be a simple little figure plinth base all the way up to a display case. I mean, we're willing to go to pretty extensive lengths to make sure that your model is presented in an artistic way, and like we've described, something that can be handed down through the generations and through time, because it is art. You know, every model, and being a modeler ourselves, I mean, we all know, you know, even just taking the kit apart and gluing it together and sanding and going through the painting process, all of it. It's a challenge, and it's something that should be celebrated and something that's preserved.
I agree. 100%. 100%.
Well, and it's reflected also in the types of materials that we've chosen over time. You'll see a lot of other sort of, quote, display cases or things like that made out of oak. Oak is relatively inexpensive, but we use cherry almost exclusively. And the reason for that is we're able to get a consistent, superior finish with any type of stain. And amongst all of the woods, cherry will take a laser engraving better than anything else. And so that is a cost. That is a higher cost. Wood costs have increased dramatically since the beginning of the pandemic years. But we continue to invest in that. And, you know, the thing is that we believe we're priced fairly for the quality that we're delivering. And the other thing that we are very serious about is if you receive a product from us and you are in any way dissatisfied, we will work to correct it. And if we can't correct it, you're getting your money back.
That's wicked good stuff. Awesome.
You know, Wes, you hit the nail on the head, because you said it's artwork, and it truly is, because my dad, after he retired from the Navy a while back, years ago, his first job after he retired was he was a trim carpenter and in houses there in Northeast Jacksonville, and they were like $1 million houses. And I used to go in there and look and see what he did, and just being a trim carpenter, doing the crown molding and the chair molding and stuff like that. I mean, you got to have some skill to be able to put that kind of stuff together. I know I've tried it several times in my house here in Maryland, and there's a reason why I did the crown molding in the laundry room first. No one hangs out in the laundry room to see it, but I've learned what I got to do for next time when I do other rooms in the house. But earlier you alluded to that, you guys started out with the CNC and you went to a laser and you got a bigger laser. So what kind of footprint do you guys have? Do you guys do this like out of your garage, or do you have a building somewhere that you guys have like a storefront?
It's very much like your modeling setup. It's in our basement. It's in our basement. The basement is absolutely jam-packed with stuff. We have the one large laser right now. We're actually looking to get another one here. We got some significant orders coming up that require to have a second laser, so that's pretty awesome. We have 2 3D printers. We have a resin one, pretty standard little, like a 4x6 kind of resin printer. We have a Polish 3D printer that's served us for many years. It's an excellent product. That's more of a filament type printer. And then we have a large CNC. It's capable of 2 foot by 2 foot. Not very deep cuts, but I mean, most of what we do is all flat bases or cutting out stuff for like the Astro cases. All the Astro case ends are CNC'd. We CNC that groove for the plexiglass to fit in, and we CNC the profile and all that. So, but yeah, it's all in the basement. We have a plexi bender too. That's in our basement. All his woodworking tools are down there. It's
my Lord.
It's pretty jam-packed. It kind of rivals some of your setups there, but we get it done. It is kind of a hassle getting some of the large stuff out the door, but we get it out the door and we ship it out in boxes, and the process keeps going.
So what do you use the 3D printers for?
So the 3D printers were originally, I guess a little background on me. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade, hydraulics engineer, actually. hydraulics has nothing to do with our business, but as an engineer, you know, it's one of those things I like to tinker, you know, and I heard about 3D printers, seeing them, you know, the technology is advancing at such a rapid pace. It's like, I got to get one. I got to get one just to have it, you know, just to play with it, see what you can make with it. And in reality, what the 3D printers allowed us to do is to design cases and other things and manufacture things that we would not be able to do in a reasonable time frame by hand or machine it or do it consistently. And a lot of our actual display cases, like the Lego Titanic cases, the 5-sided frame cases, a lot of those will actually use tubes, plastic tubes or plastic button fittings, things that are not easily machined in wood to allow for our light packages typically.
Manual dimmer switch.
Yeah, dimmer switches.
There's a number of things that he makes in there that otherwise, just to hide the wires and the connections and things like that.
Yeah,
so
it's a more economical.
It's really helped a great deal.
Okay.
And there's another thing that Wes designed with the 2, which is for ship modelers. I mean, our whole business isn't focused on ship modeling, obviously, but there's some areas where they're underserved. And if you're doing a full hull model, we do some keel blocks out of wood. That's popular. They're not to scale, but they display well. But the other thing we do is different styles of finials, which allow you to mount the hull to the base. And surprisingly, that market is, well, not surprisingly, I guess, that market has traditionally been brass fittings that were created for other purposes. They can be kind of expensive. So here, it's just sort of an add-on, right? If you want to have some different finials to try, they're inexpensive. We don't keep a whole stock of them in a box somewhere. It's basically a lot of what we do is made to order. So it helps us keep our sunk costs down and our inventory costs down. We do manufacture the Astro cases because those are in standard size, but we don't keep, hundreds of them on hand. So unlike a model manufacturer, right? Once you have invested all the stuff in the CAD work and the molding, and then you go to plastic and the boxes and everything, and now you got 1,000 kits you have to sell, and you've got all of this operating capital sunk into it. We try to run as lean as possible and scale up when we need to. So, like, for example, Wes mentioned that, the number of orders that we're getting that require engraving means that not only do we need a second laser set up to handle capacity, but we also need to have a second laser set up to make sure that if there's a problem with the primary system, that we have another one to go, right? It's like, all you guys being in the Navy, about redundant systems. So that's as we build operating capital, that's what we do is we're reinvesting. We reinvested earlier in the year in a better sander. We reinvested in a better dust collection system, going from a hobbyist system to an actual commercial system because the dust was getting to be a problem at the world headquarters there.
So I got a question.
So that's what. Yeah, Tim.
So what would be maybe this is more for Wes than anybody else is what would be the tech you'd like to add in the next year or two, without obviously revealing any trade secret, but is there a specific technology that you're looking to add that you don't currently have, and expand on that as much as you can without, again, revealing any secrets?
Yeah, I mean, we're investigating. One of our more popular products is our painted display bases, the rondelle style bases or painted information, colored images on wood, basically. And that's something we've been exploring, how to get that process to be a lot better, a lot more straightforward. Right now, processes for that consist of laser engraving masks and painting masks. It can be a little convoluted depending on how many colors and how complicated an image is. still achievable, but it just takes a while to get them done. Yeah, obviously, it's not all in one session, but it'd be nice to get a machine or a process where that is more streamlined and more straightforward, so that we can produce even higher quality painted products even faster. So that's one technology we're looking at. In terms of 3D printers, and really no need. And in fact, in some of our products, some of our new display case designs that we've come up with, we're actually reducing the amount of plastic we're using in it almost completely. So that's pretty interesting there.
Mm-hmm.
The CNC, really no need that we see at the moment for a new CNC machine. There may be some more wood finishing tools for my dad's side of it, where makes his processes even safer or more efficient. But
yeah, there might be something where we increase capacity on some of these tools, or like my table saw. It'd be wonderful to have a big old Delta Unisaw with a big fence and outfeed tables and all that kind of thing. But again, we don't have the space right now. At some point we'll as we expand, we'll have to get a place. We'll have to hire employees at some point. But we'll see. When that time comes, we'll
sure
explore and see what that's going to entail. And we got to make sure that the income is going to back all that up and take care of it. So.
Right.
But yeah, for the most part, I don't know what else we could get.
We'll definitely think of something. That's what we do. We always come up with that.
Yeah. Well, on my side, I'm sort of responsible for creating the files that we use, the files on a computer that are used then to run the laser for a variety of things. And oftentimes we're asked to reproduce unit emblems based on patches or other things. Or, there's not always, it's not ready-made. There is work. And you've all heard about, artificial intelligence use. Really, machine learning is a better terminology. My background is in computer science. And we've recently started using some tools that have got some AI components to help look at those images and get them down to the lines that drive the laser, because the laser doesn't understand, like a photograph. It has, if we're making a mask file, it has to have lines that are smooth to make a nice demarcation between one color and another. And that has, in terms of my work, that's really taken something where I'm having to recreate something by hand, which can take multiple hours, and made it now a very short period of time. So what that does is that reclaims that time. I have a full-time job too, so that reclaims time that was otherwise spent working on one thing. Now we can explore other things that might be popular. So, for example, one of the things that drives some of our prototyping is what's coming out in the scale hobby world, right? So last weekend, in a very short period of time, I created a VT2 emblem, the bomb riding a torpedo. That would be perhaps of someone who's interested in getting the new Trumpeter 132nd scale Devastator kit. We don't know if we'll sell any of them, but there's that. And, it's just looking for little things like that, like to help improve the throughput, because we are kind of driven by what the industry is doing. So we've got, you've seen probably our 1/16th scale case for the Andes Hobby Headquarters Easy 8. We've got that out there. That's a new product. We've done one for the Tiger. Oh, here's...
Yep. Nice.
So if you're building the pre-war VT2 Yellow Wings, that would be appropriate for. I don't know if they had that emblem when they went into Midway or not. I'm trying to find something for Torpedo 8, but surprisingly enough, the actual emblem, there's a lot of fake stuff out there. There's no real contemporary photographs. So that goes again to our attention to detail. There's a lot of companies, Chinese companies, that take these emblems and make stickers and stuff out of them. It would be a mistake to say that, oh, that's kind of what it looks like. We try to go right back to the original unit patches or other things to determine what it's going to look like. So the AI has really helped. It helps in ways of looking at a photograph of a patch, and you can tell it how you want the lines to come out. You can tell it how you want the color demarcation to come out. And it's literally doing something that would take me 2 hours because I'm not really an artist. I have some capability in the CAD space, but it takes it to be a multi-minute thing. And, that would be an example where AI is actually working. It's not putting anybody out of business. It's reclaiming a lot of my time that I can spend doing other things for the company.
So now, going back to your colored logos and stuff, how do you guys paint those? Are you guys hand painting these, or?
Some of them get down to hand painting, depending on how complicated. If you get to the point where it's a 5 or 6 or 7 color object, it's, we laser cut the mask for it, and then we have a background color, and then we peel off the yellow ones, spray the yellow, put the frisket back on. So some of them, they get pretty complicated. And again, when we have some standard stuff already on the website. I think we have 5 pages of standard things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so if somebody comes to us, if somebody comes to us with a custom patch, Christian's got to design it and get it such that we can use it on the laser to cut it. And then once he has it, he sends it to me. I paint the backboard, whatever is best, the background color. If the object is very small, I might do a lot of hand painting on a small object. If it's a custom base with a really small thing, I'll probably hand paint most of it. There's no sense in trying to frisk it something that's 2 inches around or something,
Yeah, this is where we're investigating technology that would help us do those. Both the large one, like Wes showed you, the VT2 emblem, I think that's a 15-inch diameter emblem, down to where it's a very small portion of the base, maybe next to the name of the aircraft or the person, where it's like only 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. But we've got to make sure that whatever technology we bring in, number one, is affordable. Number two, will support the level of production we have. I mean, we're not making hundreds of pieces every day, and some of these machines have to be run every single day or they break down. And also it has to have good durability and fidelity. So there's things that are out there, but it's one of those things where we try not to just jump into something because we can. We try to be very deliberate about it. But I think we've mastered the lasering. So now we're really having to scale up production just based on demand by the laser.
I wish I would have found you guys before when I did the tracker, because I just got ideas in my mind of how I would want that the base for the tracker.
Because I got still be redone, Frildo.
No, excuse me. That thing
you could still do it.
That thing is in my display cabinet and it's never coming out. I mean, it was hairy to get it in there. I got it in there, nothing broke, and so I'm like, what? That's where it's going to stay. But for my Phantom, for my ModelGeeks group build, the MiG killers, I got ideas rolling around in my head now how I want. Because I was going to come to you guys about a base for it anyway, but now just talking to you guys and hearing this different stuff you can do, I got like ideas of how I want to, the base to look.
you better get hot, buddy. I
the
think
fuse is lit on that because
you're running out of time.
Because Nationals is not far away. So if you would like us to help you with that, you have days, not weeks, to get your ideas over.
Yeah. So what kind of kits, what kind of models do you guys do? Are you guys ship modelers, aircraft guys, or armor? What do you guys like to build?
When I used to, it was aircraft, 1/48 scale, and usually single engine fighters, either American or German, or I did a couple British, a Typhoon.
Yeah, for me, it was 1/35 scale World War II armor. Major preference was on the German stuff, but then at the end of it, I used to do some really kind of eccentric subjects.
You did a Charbet.
I did a Charbet, and a Matilda. I was actually going to do the Matilda that was at the Battle of Arras, really early in the war. It was like 41 when the BEF,
that was 40 probably.
40, yeah. Excuse me. It was going to be the Matilda was named Peacock. And that was the Matilda that was famous because it charged Rommel with the 88s, and Peacock got its head taken off by an 88. So
wow.
that was going to be my last vehicle that I was doing. Was
short and
Peacock.
Sweet.
But of course, I took the old Tamiya kit, and I'm going through it. And I'm just like, this is bad. This is bad. So I haven't built the model.
It's been a while
since I was in college, and I graduated in 2016. So it's been quite a while.
Oh wow! So now, do you guys have a stash or anything, or you just build as you go?
Do we have a stash?
All right, just making sure.
Well, I think on the level that we've seen, I would say we're lower end. It's a beginner stash. I think I don't think I have 200, probably 150. Wes probably has 200 kits.
That's respectable.
Yeah, that's respectable.
And the whole idea was that everything that we have there, it would truly be something that we could close our eyes and grab it and we would build it. So if that's true or not, I'm not sure.
Isn't that what we all say?
A lot
I was going to say every stash
wins,
begins with that. Every stash begins with that dream.
Yeah.
Christian, you're being quiet down there. We haven't heard about your genre and your stash yet.
Well, I'm building aircraft. I've got on the bench right now an Edward Spitfire Mark 8 the extended wings, and a Griffin powered Mark 14, the Airfix kit, and it's interesting, the Edward kit, that I've got all these Edward Spitfires. I think I have 10 of them. This is the first one I've built.
Yeah.
And what a delight, particularly compared to the Airfix kit. The Airfix kit was a struggle, but I probably have at most 50 kits. I'm also have an interest in automotive. I work for the classic car auction company. Auctions.
Yep.
Oh, and I've been associated with them for quite some time. So I've built a couple of 143 scale. All my aircraft are 48 now. My eyes at my age have gotten bad, and I just don't enjoy working on the 72nd. I have a lot of respect for people like Tim and Dave Knight who can still do that, sort of in the same cohort. And a lot of great kits are coming out. And I've kind of slowed down in terms of the acquisition, but I mean, frankly, who's not going to buy a 148 scale Ferry Gannett? I mean,
I am waiting with money in hand for that thing to.
Yeah, I know. So, I've done a fair amount of Royal Navy stuff. I kind of get in a groove. I'm in a Spitfire groove right now. When I finish these two, I'm going to do a kind of a paired display it's called the first and the last. Is kind of the theme. It'll be a Mark I Edward with Squadron 19, and then I have an old Airfix Seafire FR-47, the contra rotating thing, and that's going to be the other pairing on it. And then the base will be special because there's going to be somewhere in the base will be a little table that shows the differences in the performance and the weight and the range and the horsepower and all that stuff of the two aircraft. I like to try to tell a story.
Let me introduce you to Tim Holland, El Presidente, Spitfire extraordinaire. And there's also a game, a tabletop or four-top game that he and another one of our associates is working on. And I think that's got you guys into all of the aircraft performance specifications from World War II in the European theater. So that's a plethora of knowledge sitting right up there at that bench. So
yeah.
I can't quite make out the painting, Tim.
That's a
what
Spitfire.
Is that?
It's a head-on. It's a head-on shot. Guy by the name of Jeff Cook gave that to me. He had it in his home, and he said, "You know what? I've had this thing for 40 years, been moving it around from one place to the next, never hung it on the wall." He said, "You want it?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to turn it down, of course." So I hung it up there because let's see, I think I'm at 75 or 76 completed Spitfires on the shelf, and I think I've got another 75 in the stash that eventually I plan on building. Ultimately, every mark, including Seafires and the PR models, and a lot of different, just about every marking that they ever wore. And when I say marking, camouflage scheme, obviously I'm not going to do every single serial number in the RAF because that would be in the thousands.
Well, I'd like to challenge you to do every scheme from Malta. That'd keep you going.
Yeah, and I would probably get every single one of them wrong. Because they're always finding out new information and deciding that the scheme was, it's not quite what we thought it was. But
that's the thing about it. I treat it as a hobby. That's what it is for me. It has an audience of one. That's me. I do like sharing. I'm a member of Flory. Like to share there. It's a very positive community. I like sharing on the Geek Shack and other places. It's a very positive community. We've done a good job of keeping
we work hard at it.
It's amazing, isn't it? People have just strange ideas. But and again, as we talk to modelers, Bill and Weston have talked about where the ideas come. And one of the things that we're able to do, being a small organization and being pretty adept at doing things, is we can build prototypes of ideas, and we're not committed to building thousands of them. So an example of this recently in the last, 45 days, we produced a multi-kit display case, more analogous to a traditional case, plexiglass shelves, kind of a vertical orientation. I think it was like 4 inches or 5 inches deep. And we were able to take photographs of that and get it out into those communities and ask for feedback. And what we learned was there was a lot of interest in it, but the case that we had prototyped was basically too small for most of the people. They were interested in 48 scale prop or 48 scale jet. A lot of them would prefer, it was meant to be a freestanding case. A lot of them said, I'd really like to be able to put this on the wall. It was designed to have the plexiglass slide down in the front to provide the access. It was very easy, simple to do for a freestanding case. A lot of customers said, I'd prefer a door. So we can take all that feedback. We're too close to Nationals to really spend time on that because we've got a lot of orders that we have to deliver at Nationals. And but that gives us the ability then to go back to Bill and Weston, and they'll sit down and think, okay, well, how do we do this? How do we make it of these sizes? What will be sort of our semi-standard sizes? And then more importantly, how do we get it to the customer? Because knockdown, I can't say enough about how much knockdown has made our business possible. Because if we were sending these ship cases in their full size to customers, the shipping would far outstrip the cost of the case, and we probably wouldn't sell any. So this way, we can actually send a hood case to France, and it's going to cost the guy probably $350 in terms of the shipping, but he can get it. And obviously he's coming to the United States to source this because there must not be any local solutions that meets his needs. So the knockdown aspect, the work really that Bill and Weston have done and just continually innovating. Actually, the large side case is now on its third generation in terms of how the lighting works, how the lighting's put together, standardized components. We've learned a lot about what's reliable, what's not reliable. We've had feedback about assembly, all those sorts of things. We don't stick to one design and then say that's it. They're constantly innovating. Bill's looking at ways of increasing production or being able to do multiple cases at once when it comes to cutting the side or end pieces, the finishing, things like that. So we really take the feedback from the customers on these prototypes very seriously because that helps us understand what the market is. Because scale modeling is probably in its golden age right now, but still it's not a huge community. It's not endless, right? So we have to make sure that we're building things that people are interested in.
Speaking of the build and specifically cases, going back to, I'm going to go back to that Quonset case. I know that your Astro cases are lit. What cases? I mean, obviously I'm looking at the Quonset particularly, but is that one lit? Is there an option to light it? And then what cases do y'all typically light? And how do you go about that process?
Most all of them are lit. The Quonset,
We've never done
there's a way to do it, but it would be there's just not a lot of wood there to put components, and not a lot of space to string the lights and keep them hidden. I don't know that we may with the Quonset, but those the curved wood pieces are going to have to be wider or thicker.
Gotcha.
In order to get those things in there, but every even the small cases, a case the size of for the 1/16 Sherman, we can put lights in that. That's not a problem. And the lights we put in there now, we have a internal dimmer switch as opposed to we used to have a manual dimmer switch that would be in line outside of the case, but now it'll be with a remote, so you can turn it on or off. You can turn it to 80% or whatever. Some of them are even flashing. So there's all kinds of things you can do with that. And all the big cases, that's not a problem, putting lights in all the really big ones.
So lighting a case is kind of an art, actually, as we've kind of found out. When you put your model in the display case, you want the lights to be down on top of it, typically.
Right.
Looking at it from a top-down view, you may want lights on the bottom. We've never really done them, but you could do them. Lights kind of shining up underneath the aircraft, typically in aircraft. But armor and ships, typically you want those lights on the top down. And it's difficult because most customers want to have, all the way around it. They're so used to these, we call them bubble cases, but it's where it's the 5-sided plexiglass box that kind of just sits over the whole thing. And those are very difficult to light, or if not impossible, because you need to hide the lights somewhere. You need to stuff them somewhere, and and as soon as you put them in a bubble case, you're going to see the light strip. You're going to see the wiring. It's going to look like hell, and you don't want it to be.
Exactly.
Back to that whole thing with the Mona Lisa and the frame. It's got to have some decency to it. It's got to, elevate the piece of art.
Yeah. The other thing too is you have to have a string of LED lights.
Yeah.
On front and back, so then you don't get shadows. Otherwise, if you tried to put one light in each corner, you'd have shadows or something wouldn't be quite right or focused or whatever. So the string of LED lights just gives the best lighting.
so each of the runner, typically on like the 5-sided framed piece cases, typically on those mostly for ships, but it can be for tanks or cars or planes or whatever. We typically run 2 strips along the length of whatever's the longest dimension of the case, and we hide them in those corners. And that's the beautiful thing about our broken down case designs. Assembling the electrical connections for it, we either have a barrel plug connection or we have 2 little pins that are, there's no soldering required. You're not expected to know how to wire this thing. There's either 2 wires or it's literally a simple barrel plug and you're done. And we put in, the 3D printed tube guides if we need them for that design, tube holders. So all the wires, all the lights are meticulously hidden as best as they can, while also being effective at lighting the model up.
And the power cord can come out. Yeah. I think we automatically have it come out the back right of a case. But again, a customer can have it any place, just so we know ahead of time and we configure the lights. And one other thing I want to talk about the lighting, John Kozoils. We had a customer in Illinois that he had I don't know what size sub that is. It's a big sub, and we made a nice case for him, put lights in it, liked it, but he wanted something so that it looked like it was underwater. Is there any way to do that, Bill? So Weston looked up and found
some shimmering lights.
They're basically a disco ball. I'm going to say it's 3-inch disco ball, and again, they're remote, and it goes around, and it looks like it's surface water transporting, doing something with the light, and you can change it to green and white, black, red and white, like there's a freighter's on fire on the surface or something, all those kinds of things. So we put those 2 lights on this big sub, and it's pretty amazing. But that's the problem with those lights. It only covers about, a 15-inch square area, and it would be wonderful. You could somehow get it the length of it, but it looks pretty amazing.
Skipping over to awards, this is something I've seen, more of from you guys. We've seen some. Was that at MarauderCon? I think it was either MarauderCon or it was the Central PA folks.
What's Three Rivers?
Pittsburgh?
Three Rivers?
IPMS
Three Rivers.
Oh.
Yeah. Starting to see
Bill Dedig.
Yeah. Starting to see awards popping up out there. I guess this is it seems to be a fast business, growing part of the business.
Yes.
Is that safe to say?
Yeah. Currently we're doing a lot of the clubs, certainly in our area, where they'll either come up and we'll meet and drop them off, or it's not, the shipping isn't too much. But we're doing awards for Nordicon, for NimCon, for State Line, for Butch O'Hare,
we literally have like 12 different clubs.
For Indiana, for Duneland. So it's, and again, that's one of the things where, once we get everything in the system, we have the images, we have the awards all laid out. We're changing the dates, maybe we're changing sponsors, things like that, and they get a hold of us ahead of time to make, of course, to make sure that they're renewing for the year. So once we get in the system, it isn't so bad. It's not as, once we get what they want and get the level of quality that they want, then everything's fine. But
initial design,
it's a little bit at first to get to that point. But but it's wonderful. Then year after year, we have them listed on our board that they're coming up, and we got to find out whether they're going to do them again through us. So
yeah.
And we've done some innovations there. It used to be that for categories, there'd just be a first, second, third, or whatever it was. It wouldn't necessarily say the category on it. But now we've got it so it's what we call data driven. So we get a sheet of what the different categories are, what they are, and then we can load that into the lasering software. And so we'll lay them all out in the jig, and then they can have different information on them. You don't have to go in and create the art individually for each category. It's just taking the text data and translating it into the file that the laser uses. That's given us a lot more flexibility for clubs. And I think the first time that we really did that in quantity was the spring's Madison, Wisconsin, the Mad City Modelers contest, where the awards had the actual category on them.
This is the beautiful thing about having modelers in this industry. You know exactly what the modeler is looking for.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
someone could run up to the local trophy store up here, say, "This is what I want." They're going to get a marble back piece of pine, or a piece of pine with a marble like finish on it, and then a little plaque that says, a little laser gold plaque saying first place 2023, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not what I think modelers are looking for. And you guys have hit that nail on the head.
And I think we're seeing a change in. I mean, obviously, you guys are participating in PAXCON.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's your baby, and you've adopted some of the things which I think we are going to see at the nationals level, in my opinion. Display only, gold, silver, bronze, all those sorts of things. And the beauty of the way that we're set up and the way that we're configured is that whatever your award scheme is, whatever how you're meeting it, we can do something. And even if you come back to us year after year, we're going to continue to innovate and make it possible to add color or other things, or incorporate other types of objects into it. Some of the named awards for people that might have been part of the club and have passed away, we're able to put their photograph using the laser onto the award itself. So we're able to do a lot of different things. And I think, I think we're going to be seeing changes at all levels of the hobby in terms of contests or get-togethers. I think that would be very positive.
I think I saw
but I'm not going to go
the
down
example of that photo on your website. Was it the Butch O'Hare award y'all did with the Wildcat on the? Is that a Wildcat that was on there?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I know you're going to be adding SQMD to your list of awards. Awards for shows and everything. I don't know if Nemo has reached out to you guys yet, but when we go to do our best ofs, we're going to go with you guys and have you guys do our best of awards with the PAXCON, gold, silver, bronze coins inlaid in them, that kind of a thing. So I know he's on travel right now, so he will be reaching out to you guys at some point.
Nope, he tasked me.
He tasked you to do that?
Yeah, I had actually reached out to them earlier, a couple months ago, and I owe them some information, I do believe. So we can discuss that here after a little bit offline.
Your show is in October, correct?
So that's a great question. I see where you're going with that, Christian. So let me ask a question based on that. What is the typical turnaround? If somebody was looking to come to do awards, now obviously right now we're really close to nationals, but take the nationals out of the picture on an average job, average time of the year. What's the turnaround? What's the lead time? When should they come to you and start negotiating designs?
Certainly the sooner the better.
Part of it sooner the better, and also it depends on how. We don't really have a guide for this, but it depends on how the club, how well organized are they? Are you doing categories? Are the categories set? Are the categories fixed? Are you doing best ofs? Are the Are they set and fixed? Are you having sponsors? Are your sponsors set and fixed? And then overall, what's your quantity? Do you have what the artwork is that you're using for the club? Are you using the club logo? Is that available to us? Do we have to take something that someone did years ago and modify it? We can do that. We did that with Nordicon. It's not a problem. We just have to know that. And then it comes into, all of those things then come into really Bill's area where he looks at the board downstairs at the world headquarters and just sort of looks at, and because we can calculate, all right, depending on the side, do we have the materials available? Do we have to order materials? And how many we're doing, do we have the right jigs set up? What do we think the laser time would be, or the CNC time would be, the finishing and all that? And that's the part where I step out and let Bill finish the answer.
Yeah. I'm going to just take Duneland as an example. Duneland's contest, I believe, is in October also. We do their first, second, and thirds, plus we do some best ofs. They have specials, and then we do their main awards. So it's a big order. So as soon as Dave just got a hold of me a couple weeks ago, and so I know it's coming. I went ahead and did their first, second, third place awards. They had 180 of them. They're on, I think they're 4x5 or something. They're a little bit bigger. So I went ahead and did them because that's kind of the biggest labor intensive part of it. The single awards, we're waiting for sponsors. So once he gives me a sponsor list, Wes can put it in the computer and I can do them as I have time. I glued up all the boards this week for their best ofs. So they're ready to go once we have the sponsors. So long answer to the turnaround. It just depends on how much we're doing for you for that. If we're not doing your first, second, thirds or a lot of them, we could probably do it. Boy, with everything's going on, if you give me a month, I would say a month. But yeah, as soon as you know what's going on, if you have generic first, second, and thirds, I can get them done. I don't have to wait for a sponsor or change or something.
Yep. And at a certain point, with sponsors, sometimes it's individuals and they just have individual names. Sometimes it's companies. Like Meekum has sponsored some awards before. So as the company provided a logo.
Yeah.
And it just like with anything, if you get a certain point, it's a go, no go on an award if it's sponsored. Because if we get close to having to deliver and you haven't sold your sponsorships or you haven't gotten the information from the sponsor, it's going to be a go, no go decision on whether that makes it onto the art. Sometimes what we can do is if it gets really tight and it's a big deal, we can make a little chip that has that information that can then subsequently be affixed to the award. But it's always our preference to do it all during the main production process. And the other thing we have going is we have a website. And, you can be sitting there at lunch on a Saturday and all of a sudden a guy orders a Titanic case plus one of the tables that it can sit on. And now you've got two major projects,
it jolts everything.
and that just comes in completely unpredictable. So, it's, Bill's retired. So this is what.
But is he really retired?
He always said
that's what they tell me.
Well,
you keep telling your wife
but
that, right?
Sometimes he complains about the work, but I think he really enjoys it, and also the fact that it's no 2 week.
Right, I enjoy it. There are times like in January that was tough. We had 8 Titanic cases on the board at one time.
Lord.
And then we had, I don't know how many other things going on. We had awards. We had our awards, and we had Iowa, and we had Three Rivers. Anyway, So it gets a pretty hairy where, you got to come through on these things. And so people for the most part are, if they have a Titanic, it's built, they'll wait, they'll be patient with you.
Sure.
You talk to them and tell them, I got a little setback on this or that. So, but the hard deadlines, those, they're not negotiable. We got to get them done. So, but yeah, different times of the year, it seems like everybody has a New Year's resolution to finish something or start something, and they order a case, and it's fine with us, but and we'll ship them to you. So, but yeah, the awards, we'll get them done for you. You want to lay out for them? You want Wes to lay it out for you? One way or the other, we'll give you some really good awards that you'll have for your contest.
That's awesome. Awesome stuff. I think the moral of that is if you're building something, you just need a case or a stand, and you're just starting, put it in early. Tell them it's no hurry.
Yeah, and a lot of guys do that. A lot of them do that, especially with the Titanic cases.
Yeah.
I think the one guy that we the gentleman, he was in the Navy, and he wanted a case for the ship that he was on. I think that was a Ticonderoga. He had somebody making the ship for him, and we were making the case for the ship. So he ordered them. We got the case to him before the ship got there, and then I think it was 2 or 3 months later, once he got the ship, got it all in there in his awards and cool things like that. He sent us
Very
pictures.
Nice.
So yeah, I think most everybody's understanding. We don't have 20 Titanic cases on the shelf ready to put a label on them. So it would be nice. I wish we got to that point, because that would be beautiful. They're wonderful once you get them all packed up. It's wonderful, and they're easy to put together. That's the other thing too. I think a lot of people think this is really a complicated thing. We have a link to a video of Wes and I putting a case together for someone. Of course, we have a hard copy directions in the box. They're pretty straightforward. We really haven't had anybody have any trouble putting them together, getting the plexiglass to fit in all the grooves and getting it shut and getting the electric hooked up to it. So I think we're okay with that. But again, you give us a call, we'll walk you through it. And the video, I think, for the most part, shows you, step by step what needs to be done. So
that's awesome. Very cool. All right. Let's see. We're coming up on about an hour and 20 minutes here. Let's go around the room here and see if anybody's got any final thoughts. Frill, you got anything for the guys?
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool that you're a family-run business. Father, son, and uncle. So I think that's really cool, because getting to hang out with your dad and do things with your dad.
It's family first, right? And you can do it all together.
And you guys are right there, quote, assholes and elbows next to each other doing this. And so
right by the laser, it's assholes and elbows.
And that's pretty cool. And I like to see stuff like that. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
You guys do great. You guys do great stuff. And I've got ideas that I have in my head that I want to get with you guys about for some of my stuff. So you will be hearing from me again.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah. So I've got a few bases that Bill's made for me, and one of them does have an aircraft sitting on it, the naval Camel that was flown off to Texas. I've got that sitting on that Texas base, and
sure.
I really love. I mean, every time I look in the cabinet, I'm like, I got to get more bases. This is just awesome. And then I've got my Arizona still coming along slowly. I'm kind of stalled at some deck work, but once I get that one going again, it'll move forward. But like Frildo said, I've got all kinds of ideas for bases, and every time I build another airplane or ship or whatever, I look at it and I go, okay, this needs a base, and it needs to look like this, and it needs to. And then I asked myself, well, is that something Bill can do, or is that something I should be just trying to do on my own, just because of the complexity or unique nature of what it is? But frankly, I think it's worth the question. And of course, I'm the kind of guy where deadlines are something that is artificial. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, I've got a show coming up that I've got to worry about, but that's the only real deadline I got. And any model I'm building for that is not associated with it, right? So it has no deadlines. I prefer to build and complete when it completes, and just enjoy the process. But it's been great.
Well, Tim, there's no RAF or FAA squadron crest that we can't produce. Just keep that in mind.
Believe me, I've already thought about that one.
And here, our listeners won't be able to see this, but here's a recent purchase at our show. The Squadrons of the Fleet Air Arm is this one, and then Fighter Squadrons of the RAF and their aircraft. And every single one of these has the reference of the crest in there, so that make sure that we have accurate and timely information.
Christian, we just finished an order for a gentleman from Australia, and he ended up asking us to do, I think some of them were New Zealand, some were Australian squadron. Their crests like the British. And so we have all the line art for those kinds of things. And I got them packed up. Wes is going to send them an invoice this weekend. So that's the one thing. The one thing that I'd like to leave everybody with. Yeah, we're going to be in San Marcos. All three of us. Christian will make it this year. And I was just going to tell you some of the new things that we've come up with. They may or may not be on the website, and that's no problem with Christian. We got a million things. The new turret models that are coming out. The three main ones that we have right now are for the Missouri, the Bruno, and then the Yamato turret. We have a turret base specifically for them. Again, there'll be pictures on the website of the different ones. I think you just put that up on the website this last weekend.
Yeah, those three are there.
And
we're going to expand. We'll expand that then to the other turrets that are available. The secondary armament of Yamato and Scharnhorst.
Yeah, you could just. It's just one of those things. You want a pedestal base like that? Just let me know the size. The top board will come off. We'll make that detachable so you can attach it to the model decently instead of having to deal with the whole box. The verbiage in front is all from the box art, most likely, unless you want something different. So anyway, turret bases is something new. We're going to have a ton of figure bases, and a lot of these are just goofy ideas I came up with, platforms and scraps that I put together. So we'll have all kinds of different size figure bases or platforms. We're going to have Star Wars stuff. We're going to have some the Imperial emblem. We're going to have that in a number of different sizes. Nameplates. Every year we come and somebody will come up. Well, do you have the USS, Scavenger or something? What? I don't think. So anyway, I thought, okay, I'm going to try at least this year to build or to laser engrave.
Put a bigger dent in
it. Everything that I think there's at least a model of it out there. So in smaller ones, 1/350th scale, a lot of the 16 scale armor. I have labels for them, Mandalorian, just nameplates that, guys have their big display cases. Why not just drop this little piece of cherry in front of that to name what's going on? What else do we have? I'll have a couple of the Sherman cases for the 1/16 scale. I know there's a SDKFZ 251 now out not Take-On, maybe Border, or I don't know if Take-On came out, 1/16 scale.
No, it is Take-On.
That'll fit in there also. The Sturmgeschütz will fit in there. Oh my God, we got just regular.
You can keep going on.
Just regular base sizes. Because I have so many cutoffs down there, I'll just make just base sizes. Regular platforms, 5-sided platforms. We're going to have there's a ton of when somebody calls in and wants a specific base for one. Well, of course, I'll do an extra one, and I'll bring that to the to nationals. So there's got to be 20 just one-offs that we'll bring. Just a lot of stuff. So we have 5 tables, and I know we aren't going to be able to get everything on 5 tables. There's no way. But we'll have a lot of stuff. A lot of award samples for people to look at, and to sign up and just check out or find out if we can accomplish what they want for them. So,
all right. So for listeners out there, bring your greenbacks. They're going to have a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. I'm sure they're not going to want to pack up in trailers to take back with them. So
no, we didn't bring it
cash.
Bring it there to take it back.
Yeah, that's right.
They want to take the empty.
Well, and the other advice is come early, because as soon as we're set up in the vendor room, and it's not open to the group, we're selling stuff to other vendors.
All the vendors come over. Yes.
You should make us one of your first stops on the first day you can get in there, because our inventory is. A lot of it's one-off. That doesn't mean that we can't make and ship to you post-show. But if you'd like to add something to your display at Nationals, and people do, come see us early.
Oh, I know I did. I got caught in that trap with my red star, and I walked past for my A4 build last year, and I walked past. There was a red star. I came back like 10 minutes later. Red star was gone. So, so I can attest to that. Kristen, you got anything for the listeners before we close things up?
No, I just want to say that we really appreciate being invited to be on the podcast. Podcasts are a very important part of our business. As you know, we're working with 3. Y'all are friendly and cooperative and everything else. So that's not an issue. We think podcasts are really a growing aspect of the hobby. And we enjoy being on and supporting the podcast. It's obviously helping with our top of mind awareness amongst modelers. We know that in some cases, a base or a case is a pretty big investment. And so people may be thinking about that for the future. We really look forward to seeing people face to face at show like this. Nationals is really what we've decided we're going to focus on, because otherwise we're just taking too much time away from production, and it's Nationals is the place to be. So we're really looking forward to seeing everyone. If you have ideas, no matter how outlandish, we'd love to hear about them. And, if you haven't gone to our page on Facebook, we encourage you to do that, or, visit our website at basesbybill.com.
The podcast, it's important to know that we are all really close friends. And as a matter of fact, I was getting some messages from Scott Gentry over at the Triple P as we're doing this, and he wanted me to tell y'all hello, and can't wait to listen to the interview. So we are all very close. We work very well together, and I think we all have the same focus, and that is to enhance this hobby, to try and move it forward, and to get it out there, be a positive space within the hobby. So we work hard, all of us together, to do that. So
it's a lot of work.
It really is
a lot of work. It's not just a bunch of guys talking.
And it's it's not a paid job either. We do this. We generally do this because this is what we love to do. So that's our payment is the emails we get and the meeting the new people and seeing their work, within the Facebook groups and et cetera, et cetera. So good stuff. Wes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to skip over you there. I saw you reach up there to say something. The mic's yours.
Yeah. So the one thing I wanted to say is make sure when you have an opportunity, if you've completed a project and used our bases or used our products or even just projects in general that you've completed, please make sure you send the photos to us or post them on Facebook, because ultimately that's the redemption moment for all of us, at Bases by Bill. That's the moment where we're like, okay, we helped that customer out. We did right. And their model just looks spectacular. We always enjoy seeing other people's work. So make sure to reach out and share photos and feedback anytime.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. And to that point, we had mentioned the Facebook groups. So we've got the Grumpy Old Scale Modeler. We've got the ModelGeeks Model Shack. Please, guys, use that to y'all's advantage whenever y'all can. Okay. There's no limit on what you can and can't do there. So I encourage it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So I guess that's going to wrap up this segment, and that's our interview with the fellows from Bases by Bill. I want to kind of cap it off by saying thank you for what it is you do. I think it's a positive to the hobby. It was needed. I said it before. I'll say it again. It's nice to have modelers doing this because you have a modeler's mindset when it comes to the product, and that's huge. I've been gone on record saying this. I will not display an aircraft or anything at a show without a Bases by Bill base under it. I might have to eat those words because if I don't get my order in, that's the only time that might. Now I got to throw a caveat in there, but that's good. It's good to see y'all are getting busy like that. It's well deserved, and it makes me happy to see that. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's a contest between you and Dave Knight to see who was first to get the.
Oh, is that right?
I keep saying to Dave, "Hey, you're going to do something for your F8 for the MiG Killers build?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Clock is ticking, David.
I'm good. You're going to have mine by the end of the day. So today,
okay.
I will not let Dave Knights beat me. Won't happen.
I might get my order in before you, Darren.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh,
that's fine. Well, he's been sitting over there working on it. I've seen him typing. So
that's true. That's true.
All right. Well, again, guys, thanks for coming on. And for the listeners out there, if it's bases you're looking for, and we all are, let's face it, painted or etched. I love some of the etched stuff you guys have out there. And I think we're going to have both for PAXCON, a little bit of both. And those are cases for cars, planes, ships, lit, unlit. And let's not forget our Gundam folks out there. I don't know how many, I haven't heard any designs for Gundam bases yet, but I'm sure there's stuff out there that can be done for those folks too.
I bet the Astro Vertical would work real well.
Yeah. So get those ideas over to the guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. And of course your awards and et cetera, et cetera. Don't miss it. Hit up Bases by Bill. Their products are awesome. Guys, I think it's going to close it out. I really appreciate it. Like I said, and I can't wait to have y'all back. Y'all are friends of the show. And if there's at any time, anything you need to put out to the modeling community, all you got to do is drop a text, email, phone call. We'll help you out the best way we can.
So. Wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, man. There you go. What a great sit down we had with those guys. I got to tell you, I am a Bases by Bill fanboy, man. I've already got a bunch of them sitting over here. I can't wait to get that Quonset display case for the H60.
Yeah, I went back and looked at that, and for all around viewing, that's
it's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's just wicked cool. So
yeah, you guys know how in my basement I've got that table where you can sit and eat or whatever, and most of it, well, actually 99% of the time, there's nothing on that table, and I was looking at it yesterday, and I go, I need a Quonset display case for that. And then I could just put whatever model is the latest one that I've built and just stick it in there.
That's a great idea.
Until I'm ready to move it until I finish another model. And then I can just kind of swap it out and move the other one into my regular display case.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't in the interview, so I'm missing what y'all are talking about. When you say Quonset, I'm thinking Quonset hut. So does he do?
That's exactly right.
Like that?
So,
okay.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. So they've got a case. It has glass on both ends, and now Bill and Weston have come up with a way to bend the plexi over the top.
Gotcha.
And they make a perfect Quonset right over the top. It is really cool. I mean, when you're looking, you can see from
and then a wood base on the underside.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
cool.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that'd be really
made
nice.
with cherry.
Yeah, made with cherry.
Yeah, they use cherry wood.
For the viewers, if you guys go onto Facebook, check out their Bases by Bill Facebook page. They've got pictures of all their stuff there. And then basesbybill.com, I believe, is the hyperlink. Let me
yes, it's basesbybill.com.
Check them out. They've got the painted displays. They've got their Astro cases, their ship cases. Tim just got a great deal on a ship case from them for his Constitution. Just some beautiful, beautiful stuff. And when you see what their price point is, I hope you're sitting down. That's all I'm going to say. I hope you're sitting down.
Well, too, and the best part is if you
for a good way,
right? And if you've got an idea in your head, and give them a call, email them, and they will work with you to come up with a design that you want to do. I mean, they're willing to 100%.
Yeah, I've roughed out drawings on a piece of paper, taken a picture of it, attached it to an email, sent it to them, and with kind of some words that I thought described it, and with my phone number, Bill calls me. Usually within an hour or so. I mean, literally it's that quick. And he's like, okay, hey, just want to understand, and we kind of talk through it, make a few changes. And then a few days later or a week later, depending on how complex it is, get an email from him that says, hey, we've roughed up the idea. This is what we think you're looking for. And it's an easy P to T done. And, and they'll tell you, and this is about how much it'll cost. Yeah. And I'm just floored at how good the prices are for what you're getting. The quality is just amazing.
Yeah. And, and not just display cases, check out their awards. If you're having a show, you're putting on a show, or even if you just need something for Employee of the Month with your business logo on it, check them out, man. They've got some beautiful stuff in the awards.
Because after seeing that at that interview, I was looking over at the tracker in my display cabinet, and I was like, man, I could get a different.
I knew it was coming.
It needs to happen, man. It needs to happen.
I could have the VS30 Squadron patch, like laser engraved on the base, and make it look real nice.
Yeah, real nice. Okay, Cousin Eddie, real nice.
There you go. You picked it up.
That's awesome. All right, so there you go. Bases by Bill. Check them out. I think, though, man, it's time to wrap this one up. What do you think, guys?
A lot of modeling bench time for value on this one.
Yeah, I think so. For the listeners out there, I just want to say thanks for downloading. For us, this is episode 59, another one in the books. Next one is the big 60. 60. I hope all y'all have enjoyed listening as much as we've enjoyed sitting here discussing the hobby. And this has been a great night. This was a lot of fun. We want to thank each of y'all for making us a part of your valuable bench time. Also, could not close out the night without saying thank you to our generous sponsors, Detail and Scale, Tamiya USA, Furball Aero-Design, SprueBrothers, and of course, our special guest tonight, Bassist by Bill. So, hope you can join us for the next podcast. But for now, be excellent to each other, and by all means, get out there and build something. Out from the Geeks. Take care, everybody.
Later.
Good night.
See ya.
Bye.